dramatic transition. Turn myself up? Oh, okay. Sorry. I haven't done this in a while, so my mic settings are my mic settings are not very good. Perfect? Okay. Thank you. Okay, cool. Sorry, my mic settings are not perfect, so it'll be a little wonky. Why would you do that? But welcome. So I have like some ambiance in the background. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's good or at least this mic doesn't crackle? Hey, after tomorrow there will be no more crackling, okay? There will be absolutely no more crackling. I pray. After tomorrow's stream. Also, thank you guys so much for the follows. Thank you. Cryogen, thank you so much for the tier 3 for 15 months. Ken, thank you so much for the. Oh my god, wait. I didn't even realize you were using all these bits. Thank you for the 500 bits, 300 bits. Longs, thank you so much for the raid. I didn't see that. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Let's see. Ishikun, thank you so much for the 300 bits. Welcome. Yeah. If it's not like rainfire sounds, I'm not crazy on ambiance. Yeah. This is good, right? I wanted to make sure that it was like an actual like rain, spooky, like cozy. Yeah, okay. I want to make sure that you guys are comfortable. Sorry, I have to cough. Give me a second. Yeah, I was worried because it looks like that my mic might be picking up some like sounds. So just let me know if something's off. Thank you so much, Kitsune. Thank you, Lungs. Thank you. This is actually not my typical outfit. This is just a Halloweeny. Thank you so much, Travis, for the 3 months. Thank you. Yeah, so we haven't done an ASMR stream in honestly like a really long time. So this one's not going to be the typical like I'm giving you like head pats and I'm giving you like ear scratches. It's not like that. Not this time. This time we're going to be reading creepypastas. Yeah. I am very excited. I mentioned this a few days ago, but like as I stream more, and every year that I have been a streamer, I tend to, I guess, get better with horror and get better with horror games ish. Before I would like never even open my eyes for horror games, but now like I'm a lot more, yeah, a lot better with it. So yeah, we're doing a creepypasta ASMR. If you guys have not done, or have you, I can't speak. If you have not submitted anything for the creepypasta, you still can. Like Lib said, our long reads, please do not submit that. I will literally die. But even like things that like are a few paragraphs or like a page long, I do not mind at all. I just mean like things that, you know, things that you would see on a YouTube video and they're like an hour long. And yes, if this puts you to sleep, good. I do want to do a ASMR series of what is it called? Of bedtime stories as well, along with just ASMR streams. So I think that'll be really fun. Like Slenderman. If you want to put those in, then please do. I did ask people to not put links just because I don't want to like open them up and have like the sound just keep like blaring in everyone's ear, because the Opera GX sound is quite loud. So that's why I asked you guys to just put it in a text form. Yeah. So if you put it in a link, yeah. sound of pumpkin. See, that would work if I had nails. I don't have nails. So, yeah, I would though. Hi, Giuseppe. Yes, I did enjoy the debuts. I tried to watch all of them, but since I had a collab to go to as well, I didn't get to see every one of them. They're really good, very creative, so much fun. Alright, I guess we can just get into it, right? No worries though, no worries, no worries. Okay, let's see. Alright. And again, if anytime you think that the mic is too low, if you think that the ambiance is too loud, just let me know. Let me know. Maybe it's fast hands at the other line. I hope so. I hope so. Alright, sorry. Oh my god, I need to clear my throat. Hold on. Okay. Could be a tad bit louder. Okay, okay. Is this better or is it worse? I turned the ambiance up too, so hopefully maybe that'll be better. Perfect? Okay, okay. Thank you. Okay, guys. Are you guys ready? Okay, we have 21 responses now. I'm also sorry if you can hear my mouse clicking, but, you know, it's obviously gonna have to happen no matter what. Oh, okay. Well, this is actually a story. Someone's own experience. That's interesting. I actually don't mind that. I think that'll be kind of fun. Everything is a trigger for somebody. That's true. That's true. Okay. Let's go to each one. This one says, "Okay, Hazmi, I need your help with this. This is not copy pasta. This is a long read, but I feel like my wait, what? Are you sure this is not a copy pasta? This sounds like a copy pasta. Now I'm scared. Am I gonna be put into like some sort of crime?" Okay, well, let's read it anyway. Why do they never understand the assignment? I don't know. Okay, so this one says, "I feel like my safety or well-being could very well depend on this. This is a video game related, specifically Majora's Mask, and this is the creepiest shit that has ever happened to me in my entire life." Having said that, I recently moved into my dorm, starting as a sophomore in a college, and a friend of mine gave me his old Nintendo 64 to play. I was stoked, to say the least. I could finally play all of those old games of my youth that I hadn't touched in at least a decade. His Nintendo 64 came with one yellow controller and a rather shoddy copy of Super Smash Bros. And while beggars can't be choosers, needless to say, it didn't take long until I became bored of beating up level 9 CPUs. That weekend, I decided to drive around a few neighborhoods, about 20 minutes or so off campus, hitting up the local garage sales, hoping to score on some good deals from ignorant parents. I ended up picking a copy of Pokemon Stadium, GoldenEye, F-Zero, and 2 other controllers for $2. That's a really good deal. I ended up picking up a copy. Oh, I'm sorry. I already read that. Satisfied, I began to drive out of the neighborhood when one last house caught my attention. I still have no idea why it did. There were no cars there, and only one table was set up with random junk on it. But something sort of drew me there. I usually trust my gut on these things, so I got out of the car, and I was greeted by an old man. His outward appearance was, for lack of a better word, displeasing. It was odd. If you asked me to tell you why I thought he was displeasing, I couldn't really pinpoint anything. There was just something about him that put me on edge. I can't explain it. All I can tell you is that if it weren't in the middle of the afternoon and there were people within shouting distance, I would not have even thought of approaching this man. This has been drowned. Oh, okay. Well, then I guess they did follow the assignment. Alright. I'm sorry. He flashed a crooked smile at me and asked what I was looking for. I immediately noticed that he must be blind in one of his eyes. His right eye had that glazed over look about it. I forced myself to look at his left eye instead, trying not to offend, and asked him if he had any old video games. I was already wondering how I could politely excuse myself from the situation when he would tell me that he had no idea what a video game was. But to my surprise, he said he had a few ones in an old box. He assured me he'd be back in a jiffy and turned to head back to the garage. As I watched him hobble away, I couldn't help but notice he was selling on the table. Littered across his table were rather peculiar paintings, various artworks that looked like ink blots that a psychiatrist might show you. Curious, I looked through them. It was obvious why no one was visiting the guy's garage sale. These weren't exactly aesthetically pleasing. As I came to the last one, for some reason, it almost looked like Majora's Mask. The same heart-shaped body with little spikes protruding outward. Initially, I just thought that since I was secretly hoping to find that game at these garage sales, some Freudian bullshit was projecting itself into the ink blots. But given the events that happened afterwards, I'm not so sure now. I should have asked the man about it. I wish I would have asked the man about it. After staring at the Majora-shaped blot, I looked up and the old man was suddenly there again, arms length in front of me, smiling at me. I'll admit, I jumped out of reflex, and I laughed nervously as he handed me a Nintendo 64 cartridge. It was the standard gray color, except someone had written Majora on it in black permanent marker. I got butterflies in my stomach as I realized what a coincidence this was, and asked him how much he wanted for it. The old man smiled at me and told me I could have it for free, that it used to belong to a kid who was about my age that didn't live here anymore. There was something weird about how the man phrased that, but I didn't really pay attention to it then. I was too caught up in not only finding the game, but getting it for free. I reminded myself to be a bit skeptical, since this looked pretty shady, and there's no guarantee it would work. But then the optimist inside of me interjected that maybe it was some kind of beta version, or pirated version of the game, and that was all I needed to get back on Cloud 9. I thanked the man, and the man smiled at me and wished me well, saying, "Goodbye then." At least that's what it sounded like to me. All the way in the car ride home, I had a nagging doubt that that man had said something else. My fears were confirmed when I booted up the game. To my surprise, it worked just fine, and there was one save file, named simply Ben. Out of curiosity, I looked at the save file. Eyeballing it, I could tell he was pretty far in the game. He had almost all of the masks, 3/4 of the remaining bosses. I noticed that he used an owl statue to save his game. He was on day 3, and by the Stone Tower Temple with hardly an hour left before the moon would crash. I remember thinking it was a shame that he had come so close to beating the game, but he never finished it. I made a new file named Link, out of tradition, and started the game, ready to relive my childhood. For such a shady-looking game cartridge, I was impressed at how smoothly it ran. Literally just like a retail copy of the game, save for a few minor hiccups here and there. However, the only thing that was a little unnerving was that at times the NPCs would call me Link, and at other times they would call me Ben. I figured it was just a bug, a fluke in the programming causing our files to get mixed up or something. It did kind of creep me out though. After a while, and it was around after I'd beaten the Woodfall Temple, that I regrettably went into the save file and deleted Ben. I'd intended to preserve the file just out of respect of the game's original owner. It's not like I needed 2 files anyway. Hoping that would solve the problem. It did, and it didn't. Now, NPCs wouldn't call me anything. Where my name should be in the dialogue, there was just a blank space. Frustrated, and with homework to do, I put the game down for a day. I started playing the game again last night, getting the lens of truth working my way towards completing the Snowhead Temple. Now, some of you more hardcore Majora's Mask players know about the 4th day glitch. For those that don't know, you can Google it. But the gist of it is that right as the clock is about to hit 0 on the final day, you can talk to the astronomer and look through the telescope. If you time it right, the countdown disappears, and you essentially have another day to finish whatever you were doing. Deciding to do the glitch to try and finish the Snowhead Temple, I happened to get it right on the first try, and the time counter at the bottom disappeared. However, when I pressed B to exit the telescope, instead of being greeted by the astronomer, I found myself in Majora's boss fight room at the end of the game. The chirpy boxed in arena. Staring at Skull Kid hovering over above me, there was no sound, just him floating in the air above me, and the background music, which was regular for the area, but still creepy. Immediately my palms began to sweat. This was definitely not normal. Skull Kid never appeared here. I tried moving around the area, and no matter where I went, Skull Kid would always be facing me, looking at me, not saying anything. Nothing would happen though, and this kept up for about 60 seconds. I thought the game had been bugged or something, but I was beginning to doubt that very much. I was about to reach for the reset button when text appeared on my screen. You're not sure why, but you apparently had a reservation. I instantly recognized that text. You get that message when you get the room key from Anju at the Stockpot Inn, but why was it playing here? I refused to entertain the notion that it was almost as if the game was trying to communicate with me. I started navigating the room again, testing to see if there was some sort of trigger that enabled me to interact with something here. Then I realized how stupid I was. To even think that someone could reprogram the game like this was absurd. Sure enough, 15 seconds later, another message appeared on the screen. And again, like the first one, it was already a pre-existing phase. Go to the lair of the temple's boss. Yes or no? I paused for a second, contemplating what I should press and how the game would react, when I realized that I couldn't select no. Taking a deep breath, I pressed yes, and the screen faded to white, with the words, Dawn of a New Day, with the subtext, I, beneath it, where I was ported to fill me with the most intense sense of dread and impending fear I have ever experienced it. The only way I could describe the way I felt here is having this feeling of inexplicable depression on a profound scale. I'm not normally a depressed person, but the way I felt here was a feeling that I didn't even know existed. It was such a twisted, powerful presence that seemed to wash over me. I appeared in some kind of weird Twilight Zone version of Clocktown. I walked out of the clock tower, as you normally do when you start from day 1, only to find that all of the inhabitants were gone. Usually with the 4th day glitch, you can still find the guards and the dog that runs around outside the tower. This time, they were all gone. What replaced them was the ominous feeling that there was something out there, in the same area as me, and that it was watching me. I had 4 hearts to my name, and the hero's bow, but at this point, I wasn't even considered for my avatar. I felt that I personally was in some kind of danger. Perhaps the most chilling thing was the music. It was the Song of Healing, ripped straight from the game itself, but played in reverse. The music would get louder, building up so as if you could expect something to pop up at you, but nothing ever did, and the constant loop began to wear on my mental state. Every now and then, I would hear the faint laugh of the happy masked salesman in the background, just quiet enough so that I wasn't sure if I was hearing things, but just loud enough to keep me determined to find him. I looked in all 4 zones of Clock Tower, only to find nothing. No one. Textures were missing. West Clocktown had me walking on air. The entire area felt broken. Hopelessly broken. As the reverse Song of Healing repeated, for it must have been the 50th time, I just remember standing in the middle of South Clocktown, realizing that I'd never felt so alone in a video game before. As I walked through the ghost town, I don't know where it was, the combination of the out-of-place textures and the atmosphere of the haunting melody of the once peaceful and soothing song being butchered and distorted. But I was literally on the verge of tears, and I had no idea why. I hardly ever cry. Something had gripped me here, and this powerful sense of depression that was both foreign and crippling. I tried leaving Clocktown, but every time I attempted to zone out, the screen would fade to black, and I would just zone into another part of Clocktown. I tried playing my ocarina. I wanted to escape, and I did not want to be here, but every time I played the Song of Time or Song of Soaring, it would only say, "Your notes echo far, but nothing happens." By this point, it was obvious the game didn't want me to leave, but I had no idea why it was keeping me here. I didn't want to go inside the buildings. I felt that I'd be too vulnerable there to wherever I was terrified. I don't know why, but I came up with the idea that maybe if I drowned myself in the laundry pool, I could spawn somewhere else and leave this place. As I zoned in and ran towards the pool, that's when it happened. Link grabbed his head. The screen flashed for a brief moment of the happy masked salesman smiling at me. Not Link, me. With Skull's Kid's scream playing in the background, and when the screen returned, I was staring at the Link statue from playing the song, Elegy of Emptiness. I screamed as the thing just stared at me with that haunting facial expression. I turned around and ran out back into South Clocktown. To my horror, the fucking statue followed me in the only way I can compare this to like a weeping angel from Doctor Who. Every so often, at random intervals, the animation would play to the statue appearing behind me. It was like the thing was chasing me, or I don't even want to fucking say it, haunting me. By this point, I was on the verge of hysterics, but not even once did the thought of turning off the console occur to me. I don't know why. I was so wrapped up in it. The terror felt all so real. I tried to shake the statue, but it would literally appear right behind me every single time. Link started to begin to make weird animations I had never seen him do before. He would flail his arms around, or spasm randomly, and the screen would cut to the happy masked salesman smiling again for a brief moment before I was face to face with the fucking statue again. I ended up running into the Swords Master Dojo and ran to the back. I don't know why, but in my panic, I just wanted some kind of assurance that I'm not alone here. I tried attacking the statue with my sword, but to no avail. Confused and backed into a corner, I just stared at the statue, waiting for it to kill me. Suddenly, the screen flashed again to the happy masked salesman and Link, turning to face my screen. Standing upright, mirroring the statue, looking at me along with his copy, literally staring at me. Whatever was left of the fourth wall was completely shattered, while I ran out of the dojo terrified. Suddenly the game warped me into an underground tunnel, and the reverse song of healing queued up again as I was given a brief moment of rest before the statue appeared behind me again, this time aggressively. I could only take a few steps back before it would summon behind me. I hurriedly made my way out of the tunnel and appeared in the southern Clocktown. As I ran aimlessly, in sheer panic, a sudden re-dead screamed, and the screen faded to black as dawn of a new day appeared again. The screen faded in, and I was standing on the top of the clock tower, with Skull Kid hovering over me again, silent. I looked up, and the moon was back, looming just meters above my head, but Skull Kid just stared at me hauntingly with that fucking mask. A new song was playing, the Stone Tower Temple theme, played in reverse. In some sort of desperate attempt, I equipped my bow and fired off a shot at Skull Kid, and it actually hit him, and he played an animation of him reeling back. I fired again, and on the third arrow, a text box appeared in my head. Appeared saying, "That won't do any good, hee hee." And I was picked up off the ground, levitated upwards on my back, and then Link screamed as he burst into flames, instantly killing him. I jumped when this happened. I had never seen this move used by anyone in the game, and Skull Kid himself didn't have any moves. As the death screen played, my lifeless body still burning, the Skull Kid laughed, and the screen faded to black, only to have me reappear in the same place. I decided to charge him, but the same thing happened. Link's body was lifted up off the ground by some unknown force and immediately burst into flames again, killing him. This time, during the death scene, the faint sounds of the reverse song of healing would be heard. On my third and final try, I noticed that there was no music playing at this time, that all there was eerie silence. I remembered that in the original encounter with Skull Kid, you were supposed to use the ocarina to either travel back in time or summon the giants. I attempted to play the Song of Time, but before I could hit the last note, Link's body once again horrifically exploded into flames, and he died. As the death screen neared its end, it began to chug, as if the cartridge was trying to process a lot of something. When the screen came to, it was the same scene as the first 3 times, except Link was lying on the ground, dead in a position I had never seen in the game before. His head tilted towards the camera, with the Skull Kid floating above him. I couldn't move. I couldn't press any buttons. All I could do is just stare at Link's dead body. After around 30 seconds of this, the game simply fades out with the message, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" before kicking you out to the title screen. Upon getting back to the title screen and starting again, I noticed my save file was no longer there. Instead of Link, it was replaced with Your Turn. Your Turn had 3 hearts, 0 masks, and no items. I selected Your Turn, and immediately when I did, I was returned to the clock tower rooftop scene of my Link dead and the Skull Kid hovering over. With the Skull Kid's laugh looping again and again, I quickly hit the reset button, and when the game booted up again, there was one more save file added. Below Your Turn, entitled Ben. Ben's save file, right back where it was before I deleted it, at the stone temple, with the moon almost crashing. I turned the game off at that point. I'm not superstitious, but this is way too fucked up even for me. I haven't played it at all today. Hell, I didn't even get any sleep last night. I kept hearing the reverse Song of Healing music in my head, and just remembering the sense of dread I felt exploring Clocktown. I drove back to the old man's house today to ask him some questions with a buddy of mine. No way I was going there alone, only to find that there's a for sale sign in the front yard. When I rang the door, no one was home. So now I'm back here, writing down the rest of my thoughts, and recording what happened. Sorry if some of this has grammatical errors and whatnot. I'm running on no sleep here. I'm terrified of this game, even more so now than I relived a second time writing all this down. But I feel like there's still more to Ben than meets the eye, and that there's something calling me to investigate this further. I think Ben is something in this equation, but I don't know what. And if I could get a hold of this old man, then I would be able to find some answers. I need another day or so to recuperate before tackling this game again. It's already taken a toll on my sanity, I feel like. But next time I do this, I'm going to record all my footage all the way through. The idea to record only came to me towards the end, so you see the last few minutes of what I saw, including Skull Kid and the Elegi statue. But it's on YouTube here. I'm going to stay in this thread for a little while longer before I fall asleep to answer any questions you guys might have, or hopefully listen to any of your ideas or theories to help me shed some light on this, or maybe things I should try to do. I think I'm going to play Ben's file tomorrow to see what happens, but maybe I was supposed to do that all along. I don't believe in paranormal shit, but this is a little fucked up. But maybe this Ben guy is just a really good hacker/programmer. I don't want to think about the alternatives if he isn't. That's the end of the copy-paste. I'm hoping that maybe there's some kind of running gag that the developers had, and other people have gotten gag or hacked copies of the game like this. This just really scares me. They do provide a YouTube video, but obviously I don't want to click it because it's gonna play noise. That was really long. Okay, I've never heard this in my life. I've also never played Majora's Mask before. Also, hello Soda! Welcome, welcome! Yeah! Majora's Mask is peak cinema. Yeah, yes, if you guys have any copy pastas, please feel free to submit them in the link that is pinned above. Yeah, no, I haven't really, I mean, I guess I haven't really read a lot of copy pastas, or creepy pastas rather. I do like watching some like SCP stuff. Ben drowned. So is this like a series? I guess. Wait, this didn't actually happen, did it? I did have a haunted game cartridge as well, so what's a one-off? Okay. Okay, some of you guys are saying a one-off, some of you guys are saying a series. Ooh. This one's a good one. The Russian sleep experiment. I think I've also read this before as well. This one's pretty creepy. Yeah, this one's pretty creepy. I have read this one, at least. Yeah. Thank you, Aiden. Sorry, I wanted to take a few minutes to be able to talk to you guys. Hi, Sami, welcome. Hello, hello. How are you? You want another one? Okay, okay. Thank you so much for the raid. My name is Hazumi. I'm a lioness knight, here to protect you forever, and today we are doing ASMR, reading creepypastas for the spooky season. I haven't done an ASMR stream in a really long time, so I thought that this would be super, super fun. Sorry, Stream Elements blocks links if you're not subscribed. Sorry. But thank you, Sammy. I hope you had a really good stream. If you guys are into creepypastas or you want to listen, then please stick around. Oh, am I quiet? People are saying I wasn't quiet. Am I quiet now, chat? Oh, your volume's only at 40. Oh, okay. I was like, really? Everyone said it was good. Okay. That makes sense. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry, this 3DO mic isn't, I guess, like, amazing. Or I do have to fix stuff. Yeah. I don't really know which one yours would be. So it'd be kind of hard to do that. Oh, you're using headphones? Okay, let me see really fast. Okay, we have no noise gain or anything. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, Law. It's kind of hard because these are just numbered. Yeah. Okay. I just didn't want my background noise to catch. Is that better? Let me know. Yeah, I didn't want my background noise because I think you can hear my fans in my computer. So I didn't want that to catch. Maybe I'll turn up the ambiance a little more. Let me know if this is good before I continue with the stories. Let me know. Is that good then? Do you guys think that this is good? I hope so, because I can't make it any louder. You haven't noticed any background noises? Yeah, I don't think I can make it much louder. Oh, now the rain is too audible? Or the rain is too loud? Okay. What about now? Is that good? Hi, Tofu. Thank you so much for the streak. Perf? Okay. I trust you. We're leaving it at this, then. Your voice and the rain sound balanced. Okay. Oh my god, excuse me. I burped. Oh, it's basically back where it started. Well, I did turn myself up more, though. I'm a little louder, at least. Thank you, Isami. Thank you. Alright, so this next creepypasta that was submitted is the Russian sleep experiment. I've heard of this one before, but I haven't read it or like watched a video on it in a pretty long time, so I'm excited to read through this. These creepypastas are actually a lot longer than I thought, so I guess it works that we don't have too many submissions, because it's already been 40 minutes, which is crazy. Not that it took me 40 minutes to read that, but yeah. Maybe I should stop submissions. Okay, I'll stop submissions now just in case. Okay. Yeah, I'll stop it for now. So apologies if you guys do that. Yeah. Thank you, Lib. Thank you. Oh, okay. I'll look through everything and see if I can find a good cutoff. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Creepypastas are like stories, basically. I wouldn't expect them to be very short. Okay. Let's see. So I want to move my phone so you can actually see my mouth move. That should be okay. Okay. The Russian sleep experiment. Russian researchers in the late 1940s kept 5 people awake for 15 days using an experimental gas-based stimulant. They were kept in a sealed environment to carefully monitor their oxygen intake so that the gas didn't kill them, since it was toxic in high concentrations. This was before closed-circuit cameras, so they only had microphones and 5-inch thick glass porthole-sized windows into the chamber to monitor them. The chamber was stocked with books and cots to sleep on, but no bedding, as well as running water, a toilet, and enough dried food to last all 5 over a month. The test subjects were political prisoners deemed enemies of the state during World War II. Everything was fine for the first 5 days. The subjects hardly complained, having been promised, falsely, that they would be freed if they submitted to the test and did not sleep for 30 days. Their conversations and activities were monitored, and it was noted that they continued to talk about increasingly traumatic incidents in their past. The general tone of their conversations took on a darker aspect after the 4th day mark. After 5 days, they started to complain about the circumstances and events that led them to where they were. They started to demonstrate severe paranoia. They stopped talking to each other and began alternately whispering into the microphone and one-way mirrored portholes. Oddly enough, they all seemed to think that they could win the trust of the experimenters by turning over their comrades, the other subjects in captivity with them. At first, the researchers suspected that this was an effect of the gas itself. After 9 days, the first of them started screaming. He ran the length of the chamber repeatedly, yelling at the top of his lungs for 3 hours straight, at which point he continued attempting to scream, but was only able to produce occasional squeaks. The researchers postulated that he had physically torn his vocal cords. The most surprising thing about this behavior was how the other captives reacted to it, or rather, didn't react to it. They continued whispering into the microphones until the second of the captives started to scream. The 2 non-screaming captives took the books apart, smeared page after page with their own feces, and pasted them calmly over the glass portholes. The screaming promptly stopped. So did the whispering into the microphones. After 3 more days passed, the researchers checked the microphones hourly to make sure they were working. Since they thought it was impossible that no sound could be occurring with 5 people inside, the oxygen consumption in the chamber indicated that all 5 would still be alive. In fact, it was the amount of oxygen 5 people would consume at a very heavy level of strenuous exercise. On the morning of the 14th day, the researchers did something they would not do to get a reaction from the captives. They used the intercom, or they said they would not do to get a reaction from the captives, rather. They used the intercom inside the chamber, hoping to provoke any response from the people they were afraid were either dead or vegetables. They announced, "We are opening the chamber to test the microphones. Step away from the door and lie flat on the floor, or you will be shot. Compliance will earn one of you immediate freedom." To their surprise, they heard a calm voice respond in a single phrase: "We no longer want to be freed." Debate broke out among the researchers and military forces funding the research. Unable to provoke any more response using the intercom, it was finally decided to open the chamber at midnight on the 15th day. The chamber was flushed with the stimulant gas and filled with fresh air. Immediately, the voices from the microphones began to object. 3 different voices began begging, as if pleading for the life of loved ones, to turn the gas back on. The chamber was opened, and the soldiers were sent in to retrieve the test subjects. They began to scream louder than ever, and so did the soldiers when they saw what was inside. 4 of the 5 subjects were still alive, although no one could rightly call the state of any of them in life. The food rations past day 5 had not been so much as touched. There were chunks of meat from the dead test subject's thighs and chest stuffed into the drain in the center of the chamber, blocking it and allowing 4 inches of water to accumulate on the floor. Precisely how much of the water on the floor was actually blood was never determined. All 4 surviving test subjects also had large portions of muscle and skin torn away from their bodies. The destruction of flesh and exposed bone on their fingertips indicated that the wounds were inflicted by hand, not with teeth, as the researchers initially thought. Closer examination of the position and angles of the wounds indicated that most, if not all of them, were self-inflicted. The abdominal organs below the rib cage of all 4 test subjects had been removed. Jesus. That is so scary. While the heart, lungs, and diaphragm remained in place, the skin and most of the muscles attached to the ribs had been ripped off, exposing the lungs through the rib cage. All the blood vessels and organs remained intact, but had been taken out and laid on the floor, fanning out around the eviscerated but still living bodies of the subjects. The digestive tract of all 4 could be seen to be working, digesting food. Quickly became apparent that what they were digesting was their own flesh that they had ripped off and eaten over the course of days. Most of the soldiers were Russian, special operatives at the facility, but still, many refused to return to the chamber to remove the test subjects. The subjects themselves continued to scream to be left in the chamber, and begged and demanded that the gas be turned on, lest they fall asleep. To everyone's surprise, the test subjects put up a fierce fight in the process of being removed from the chambers. One of the Russian soldiers died from having his throat ripped out, and another was gravely injured by having his testicles ripped off, and an artery in his leg severed by one of the subject's teeth. Another 5 of the soldiers lost their lives, if you count the ones that committed suicide in the weeks following the incident. In the struggle, one of the 4 living subjects had his spleen ruptured and bled out almost immediately. The medical researchers attempted to sedate him, but this proved impossible. He was injected with more than 10 times the human dose of a morphine derivative and still fought like a cornered animal, breaking the ribs and arms of one doctor. His heart was seen to beat for a full 2 minutes after he bled out, to the point there was more air in his vascular system than blood. Even after it stopped, he continued to scream and flail for another 3 minutes, struggling to attack anyone in reach, and just repeating the word "more" over and over, weaker and weaker, until he finally fell silent. The surviving 3 test subjects were heavily restrained and moved to a medical facility. The 2 with intact vocal cords continuously begging for gas, demanding to be kept awake. The most injured of the 3 was taken to the only surgical operating room that the facility had. In the process of preparing the subject to have his organs placed back within his body, it was found that he was effectively immune to the sedative they had given him to prepare for the surgery. He fought furiously against his restraints when the anesthetic gas was brought out to put him under. He managed to tear most of the way through a 4-inch wide leather strap on one wrist, even through the weight of a 200-pound soldier holding that wrist. It only took a little more anesthetic than normal to put him under, and the instant his eyes fluttered and closed, his heart stopped. In the autopsy of the test subject that died on the operating table, it was found that his blood had tripled the normal level of oxygen. The muscles that were still attached to his skeleton were badly torn, and he had broken 9 bones in his struggle to not be subdued. Most of them were from the force of his own muscles that had exerted on them. The second survivor had been the first group of the 5 to start screaming. His vocal cords destroyed. He wasn't able to beg or object to surgery. He only reacted by shaking his head violently in disapproval when the anesthetic gas was brought near him. He shook his head yes when someone suggested reluctantly that they should try the surgery without anesthetic. I did not react. For the entire 6-hour procedure of replacing his abdominal organs and attempting to cover them with what remained of his skin, the surgeon proceeding stated repeatedly that it should not be medically possible for the patient to still be alive. One terrified nurse assisting the surgery stated that she had seen the patient's mouth curl into a smile several times when his eyes met hers. When the surgery ended, the subject looked at the surgeon and began to wheeze loudly, attempting to talk while struggling. Assuming this must have been some drastic importance, the surgeon had a pen and pad fetched so the patient could write his message. It was simple: keep cutting. The other 2 test subjects were given the same surgery, both without anesthetic as well, although they had to be injected with paralytic for the duration of the operation. The surgeon found it impossible to perform an operation while the patients laughed continuously. Once paralyzed, the subjects could only follow the attending researchers with their eyes. The paralytic cleared the system in an abnormally short amount of time, and they were soon trying to escape their bonds. The moment they could speak, they were again asking for the stimulant gas. The researchers tried asking why they had injured themselves, why they ripped their own guts, and why they wanted to be given the gas again. Their only response was given. Only one response was given: I must remain awake. All 3 subjects were reinforced, and they were placed back into the chamber, awaiting determination as to what should be done with them. The researchers, facing the wrath of their military benefactors for having failed the stated goals of their project, considered euthanizing the surviving subjects. The commanding officer, an ex-KGB, instead saw potential and wanted to see what would happen if they were put back on the gas. The researchers strongly objected, but were overruled. In preparation for being sealed in the chamber again, the subjects were connected to an EEG monitor and had the restraints padded for long-term confinement. To everyone's surprise, all 3 stopped struggling the moment it was let slip that they were going back on the gas. It was obvious that, at this point, all 3 were putting up a great struggle to stay awake. One of the subjects that could speak was humming loudly and continuously. The mute subject was straining his legs against the leather bonds with all his might. First left, then right, then left again for something to focus on. The remaining subject was holding his head off his pillow and blinking rapidly. Having been the first to be wired to the EEG machine, most of the researchers are monitoring his brain waves in surprise. They were normal most of the time, but sometimes flatlined unexpectedly. It looked as if he were repeatedly suffering brain death before returning to normal. As they focused on paper scrolling out of the brainwave monitor, only one nurse saw the man's eyes slip shut, the same moment his head hit the pillow. His brainwaves immediately changed to that of deep sleep, then flatlined for the last time as his heart simultaneously stopped. The only remaining subject that could speak started screaming to be sealed in now. His brainwaves showed the same flatlines as the one who had just died from falling asleep. The commander gave the order to seal the chamber with both subjects inside, as well as 3 researchers. One of the named 3 immediately drew his gun and shot the commander point blank between the eyes, then turned the gun on the mute subject and blew his brains out as well. He pointed his gun at the remaining subject, still restrained to the bed, as the remaining members of the medical and research team fled the room. "I won't be locked in here with these things. Not with you," he screamed at the man under the table. "What are you?" he demanded. "I must know." The subject smiled. "Have you forgotten so easily?" The subject asked. "We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be free at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go into the nocturnal haven where we cannot tread." The researcher paused, then aimed at the subject's heart and fired. The EEG flatlined as the subject weakly choked out. "So nearly free." Spooky. I know that there's like some deeper meaning for this one, but I'm not really sure what it is. I guess like, I don't know. It's so spooky though. I like it. Let's see. Okay, someone put a link. Why did you put a link? I literally said copy and paste the actual story so it's easier for me to read. Okay, I'll make one exception. One. I'll mute the desktop audio so that I can copy and paste it. Okay, let's see. Never mind, I'm not reading this. Estimated reading time 57 minutes. Goodbye. Goodbye. Okay. Good God. Alright, there is an ad break starting. So I will play that right now, actually. So then we can start after. Yeah. Dude, I know. I should not. Where else was I supposed to put the instructions? YouTube reviewers reading instructions. Dude, I know. I fucked up thinking that you guys could do that. So I did talk about this with my Patreon members, but I will be doing 2 horror watch-alongs this month. So, oh my god, I'm sorry. The first one will be for Patreon members. We're going to be watching a comedy scary movie, so we're probably going to watch Scary Movie 3. And then for everyone, so all the people in my Discord, we'll probably watch a actual horror movie. I'm thinking A Quiet Place because I've never watched the original, and I really want to watch that one. So I think we're gonna do that for everyone in Discord. So if you guys are interested, we'll probably do that. Patreon members, I'll probably do this on one of the weekends, this coming weekends. Come on with that. I don't know. That's what chat was suggesting, or Patreon members were suggesting. Um, yes, a Krasinski movie. Exactly. I love him. So we'll probably do that. We'll do that one of the weekends, and then A Quiet Place. I'll probably do like a weekday night, probably. Since like, I mean, I want to prioritize the Patreon members, of course. So I want to do a watch along during a time that they're free, and then any other time that I'm free, then we will be able to do that, the Quiet Place. Let me think. I also, I've been grinding because I'm like trying to do a bunch of spooky stuff this month, including building my computer, which is very spooky, which is tomorrow. And then what else? What else? Yeah, we're gonna be doing like a bunch of different horror games next week. So we're gonna be doing Silent Hill 2. That one's gonna have a twist though, so I'm excited to do that. I'm probably gonna do that on Friday, I think. Friday, I think, because I want to do it with a little twist. It's gonna be fun. Also, we're gonna be playing FNAF for the first time. I've never played FNAF before. I know it's like a 4-ish hour game, right? Question mark? I'm pretty sure it's around 4 hours. So I think that we could do it. Yeah, I know. I've never played it before. Can you believe that? Yeah, horror. Prepare my ears? What do you mean prepare my ears? Oh, because he's a fucking bear? I will literally kill you. And then continuing Resident Evil 2. And then yes, Jake, I'm gonna play it next week. Don't worry. I'll be killer on my ears. Oh Jesus. I'm gonna play it next week. I kind of want to, since I will have a beefier PC, I might do my horror games in 3D, possibly. At least FNAF, maybe, so you guys can see me jump and flail and scream. I think that'd be funny. And then, yeah, Silent Hill 2, like I said, I'll have a, this will be really, it'll be kind of funny, actually. Yeah. Okay, wait, you guys said that FNAF is short, but I remember, like, well, so after my Dark Souls stream with Vanta, which we'll probably also do, I think we'll start again, I don't know when, because I want to prioritize, like, spooky games and finishing my spooky games first, before we do that. So probably the first week of November, we'll do that again. Anyways, Phantom Light Tyrant, I can't. Okay. Oh wait, I stopped talking about it, but so after my collab with him, he went to do his own FNAF stream. I didn't really watch it because I, didn't want to be spoiled, because the only thing I know about FNAF is that you're watching security cameras and you get jump scared, and that's it. But I remember people telling me that this is like a 4-hour game, and then I looked at his stream and it had been like 6 hours. So I was like, am I cooked? Is it gonna take me 6 hours? So, yeah. "4 hours if I don't die." Do I know any FNAF lore? I watched the movie. I watched the movie, and I watched. Oh, oh, you're right. What happened? Hold on a second. It was unplugged. It was unplugged. Anyways, wait, why is it still on? Okay, I think it's good now. You hear that? I'll give you head scratches. There you go. Oh yeah. So, okay. Before I get to the next copy pasta or creepy pasta, is it like how it's not a puzzle game, right? Is it a survival game? Because I'm not good at those. I'm not good at running from things, as you could see from the Resident Evil 2 gameplay. Silent Hill I know is, yeah. I'm talking about FNAF. Oh. Sorry, my thing keeps unplugging. You need to keep track of patterns in cameras and manage your energy consumption. Guys, I think I actually might take longer than Vanda. I think I might actually have the record for the longest FNAF playthrough. I'm gonna cry. Anyways, let's continue. Alright. This one is a bit shorter. It doesn't have a title. But yeah, excited. Okay, let's go. It's locked. About 10 years ago, I was recently divorced and living alone in a one-bedroom apartment. The place was clean, and rent was decent. One of those places had a doorman. I felt safe here. I was alone and loving it, focused on my career and not my clingy ex-husband. Things were finally looking up for me. At the time, I was working pretty late at the office and would often stumble into my apartment sleep-deprived in the early hours of the morning and awake by 6:30, 7-ish to start the day. I started noticing that in the morning, my door would be unlocked sometimes. I usually dismissed this as my sleep-dead brain, thinking that the bed looked more appealing than locking the door. Another thing that I noticed since moving in was that I seemed to misplace things more than I used to. Little things, like a hairbrush or nail polish, that sort of thing. It wasn't really that big of a deal, just enough to be a slight annoyance in my day. The longer I lived here, the more frequently I seemed to forget to lock the door. At first, it was every once in a while. Then it seemed like almost a daily occurrence. More things went missing. Things like pictures, shaving razors, and most disturbingly, my underwear. This went on for long enough that I started to get a little paranoid. I started to take the time at night to make sure the door was locked. I got into the habit of every night after I locked the door to turn the handle 3 times and say to myself, "It's locked, it's locked, it's locked." Time after time, I would wake up and the door would be unlocked. One time, I even tried staying up all night to watch the door, but I ended up falling asleep in my chair. I decided that my mind was not reliable enough to stay up all night, so I invested in a video camera. I went all out and bought the fanciest camera I could get my hands on. So one night, I set up the camera facing the door. I hid the camera under a pile of towels on the floor. I locked the door and went to bed. When I woke up, my apartment looked normal. Nothing missing that I could see. I decided to check the tape. I fast forwarded through hours of footage, not seeing anything. I was just about to give up when I noticed the handle of the door jitter, then slowly crept open. Creepy. A figure slid through the half-open door and walked towards the camera. It paused, looked around as if it was listening for something, then walked forward into direct view of the camera. I paused the camera. The hairs on my arm and back of my neck started to rise. I was staring directly into the face of the maintenance man of the building. I could see those big, thick glasses and curly hair. I had no doubt who it was. I played the tape a little more. He looked comfortable as he walked around the apartment. Then he turned and walked towards my bedroom and out of the view of the camera. I didn't know what to do. Sobbing, I called the police. I tried to explain over the phone, but I couldn't. Soon enough, 2 officers arrived at my doorstep. I told them everything and showed them the tape. I remember seeing the blood drain from their face. They promised me that I was safe and they were going to get this guy. I needed to lay down, but didn't want to be alone. One of the officers offered to stand outside my apartment door as I took a nap. As I was lying in bed, unable to sleep, but too drained to move, something nagged at me. Something kept nagging at me. I laid there for a few minutes, tossing and turning, unable to get comfortable or rest. My mind was racing. Then a realization slowly washed over me and chilled me to the bone. We watched the tape and saw the man entered my home, but we never saw him leave. Oh my god. Oh my god. I froze, then started shaking. I needed to get to the front door. I sat up and looked around the room. I couldn't see anyone. I swung my legs over the side of the bed cautiously. My feet hit the cold wood floor, and I felt a warm breath on my ankles. I raced out of my apartment as fast as I could and to the safety of the police officer. He called for backup. They found the man under my bed, clutching a knife and a Polaroid camera. To this day, I cannot sleep alone. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, that was actually like really scary. I think when it's like events like this that could actually happen, you know, in real life, that's when things get very spooky. Very scary. Yeah, I think definitely. Yeah, no, definitely one of my worst fears. Yeah, ghosts don't scare you, people do. Hi, Scar. Scar, did you submit any creepypastas? You seem like the type to like horror stuff. Turns out that it was people who were the monsters all along. Dude, like that's actually so scary. Like reading this, it didn't even occur to me that the guy didn't even leave, you know? That's so scary. I think this is probably like the scariest one that I read so far because it's the most realistic. Oh wait, I'm sorry. The title was It's Locked. Oh, this one? Oh, is this one? Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you so much for submitting. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, oh my gosh, that is. Or like people like secretly living in your house and you have no idea for like the longest time. Do you know how scary that is? Like that is just horrifying to think about. This one always chills me because exactly, it could definitely happen to anyone. There's a true story where that happened. Oh god, no. I mean, I wouldn't even doubt that. So glad you found it. I'm so glad you submitted it. Yeah, this one is probably like the spookiest one. I don't have my submissions open anymore. I did have a link to the submissions, but I wanted to close them since a few of them have been quite long. We're only on we're only on 6 out of 25, Um, and I just wanted to. I didn't realize how long they were gonna be. I should have checked before, but I wanted to be. I wanted to be like surprised, you know. All right, let's see. But like I said, I did want to do like ASMR bedtime story readings. So if there's like short stories or like little fairy tales that you guys enjoy, please put it in the suggestions in my Discord, and I will definitely look at those. I used to do ASMR streams every Friday. I had stopped doing those just because I started traveling a lot and stuff started happening a lot, so I ended up, you know, doing different things. But I do want to bring that back. Yeah, I do want to bring that back. Those will probably be very late night, so if anything, I might end up streaming 2 times on Friday. We'll see. Alright. My throat always gets so, like, I always have to, sorry, I'm drinking water again, but I feel like every time I, like, talk very, low, I guess. Okay, let's continue. This one says, she found her way into my home. Please, I don't know what to do. I've tried to tell my wife about this, but she's a science teacher, and thanks to my history of practical jokes, she thinks I'm just kidding. Ah, thank you, Soda. Thank you. I don't do ASMR too often. Everyone told me I had a cozy voice, and I should try it. So now we're here. Like, I think sorry, I totally just stopped reading. I'll read this again. But I feel like, what is it called? This, what is it? The, kind of like, the kissing, the ear cleaning, like, I like those, but I like reading stuff to you guys. I like talking, you know? Yeah. Okay, let's do this again. She found her way into my home. Please, I don't know what to do. I've tried to tell my wife about this, but since she's a science teacher, and thanks to my history of practical jokes, she thinks I'm just kidding. There's something stalking me. I don't know what it wants, but almost every night since I started seeing it, it has terrorized me. It doesn't touch me. It doesn't communicate in any sort of way. It just fills me with horror. If what I seem to ramble, please forgive me. I haven't slept in several days. We live in the second floor of a duplex, with stairs down the back of the house to the basement where the laundry machines are. There is a door at the bottom of the stairs, before the door to the basement, that looks out onto our back porch and into the backyard. 6 days ago, I was going down to the basement to bring up some laundry, and I glanced out the door as I passed. There was a figure standing at the far edge of our yard. Her back was to me, and she was just standing there, looking into the woods beyond our yard. She was dressed in nothing but a light gown, but had lots of flowing material coming off, and it was whipping around in the air slowly. The whole scene creeped me out instantly, but I thought she might be a friend of our downstairs neighbors, so I continued to the basement. When I came back up, she wasn't there. The next night, I went down again, and as I passed the back door, I looked outside. The woman was back. She was exactly like how she was the night before, facing away, not moving. The hair on my arms and neck stood up straight when I saw her. I was even more creeped out when I realized she was in the same clothes as the night before. That's when I did something I shouldn't have. I opened the back door. Leaning out, I called to her to see if she was okay. She didn't respond. She didn't make any sort of indication that she'd heard me. It was freezing cold, so I shut the door and locked it. Coming back upstairs afterwards, I looked out the window, and she was gone again. Later that same night, I was in the bedroom getting ready to sleep. Everything was dark, but because my wife had gone to bed before me. Our bedroom looks out over the backyard, and my side of the bed faces the windows, so I have to go past them to get in. As I was doing so, I suddenly got that same deep dread feeling in my stomach that I had gotten the first time I saw the figure in the backyard. Something compelled me to hesitate by the windows. My hands were shaking as I pulled the curtain back a bit, peeking through the shades into the backyard. It was a clear night, so the backyard wasn't shrouded in darkness. The woman was standing in the middle of the backyard, no longer at the edge of the woods, facing the house with her head tilted up to look directly at the window I was peeking from. I jerked away instantly, afraid she had seen me. Her face was covered in shadow and hair, but I saw her chin and nose, a sharp nose and a thin chin. Gray. Her skin looks gray, I think. Her hair is black and long. I was so scared, I jumped into bed and covered myself with the covers. The next day I played outside in the snow with my 4-year-old daughter. She wanted me to pull her on the sled in the backyard, but just the thought of going back there made me scared again. So I talked her into digging holes in the snow in the front yard. That night, things went from bad to worse. Somehow, I managed to forget about the woman. Then, in the middle of the night, my daughter started crying. Our bedroom is just across the hall from hers. I thought she might need to use the restroom, or just having a bad dream, so I went to her room to see if she was okay. She was uncovered, curled into a ball on her mattress. I pulled her covers over her, and that's when she whispered to me, "Daddy, there's something in my closet." Instant goosebumps. I turned my head slowly towards the closet door at the end of her bed. Why would your bed face the closet? Normally, the closet is shut, but now it is open. The woman was standing in my daughter's closet. Not even when it was clear that I saw did she move or make a sound. Just stood there and looked at me through the cracked open door. My blood ran cold when I saw her. "Get up," I told my daughter. "Get in my arms, quickly, quickly." She scrambled up and hugged me tightly, and I walked backwards out of the room, watching the closet the entire time. In my mind, I imagined her throwing the closet door open and running at us. Arms outreached. I just hugged my daughter and walked backwards into my room. The woman never appeared in the doorway. I heard no movement from my daughter's room. I tucked her into my bed and stood there watching the doorway to her bedroom. I did not go back in. I just stood there and watched and listened. When I finally got the courage to climb into bed, I didn't sleep. Sunday, I told my wife everything. I told her about the first time I saw this woman. I told her about calling out to her and seeing her from the window. I told her that she had appeared in our daughter's closet. She told me it wasn't funny, that it was my fault for our daughter's bad dreams, and that I shouldn't encourage her to be afraid of her closet. Sunday night, my daughter called to me from her room again. Call me a coward, but I couldn't go back into that room. I called her quietly to come get into our bed, but she cried and said she was scared. I wanted to go and get her, but I was scared too. I told her to pull the blankets up and cover herself. "Just cover yourself, honey, and you'll be okay." I prayed that it was true. I lay there, peeking over the sleeping form of my wife, and out into the hallway at the closed door of my daughter's room, and just kept praying. I heard her cry a little while longer, and then she went quiet, and I hoped that she was asleep. Monday, I piled toys in front of the door to her closet. By that time, there was no doubt in my mind that this was some sort of ghost or apparition, but I piled things in the front of the closet anyway. Like a pile of toys could stop a ghost. Monday night, my daughter did not cry, but I didn't sleep. I lay there, looking at the ceiling, tense. Around 2 o'clock, Around 2 o'clock, I heard her bedroom door creak open, and I knew something was wrong. She must be scared, I thought, so I called to her like before. Just come to me and you can sleep in our bed, sweetie. But she didn't come. I peeked over my wife. The woman was standing there in the doorway to my daughter's room. Her arms hung at her sides, her shoulders slouched down. Her gown was dirty, like it hadn't been washed in years, and hung off her like torn rags. I wasn't breathing. I wasn't blinking. I just looked at her, and she looked at me. And I thought, this is it. I'm going to die. She never moved, never made a sound. I whispered, please go away. Please leave me alone. Please, I'm sorry. I couldn't look away. If I look away, she'll get closer. I was sure of it. If I close my eyes, when I open them, she'll be standing over me, looking at me. At some point, she was gone. It's like I fell asleep with my eyes open. I don't remember her disappearing, just that I was looking at the doorway and she wasn't there anymore. Last night, I lay awake waiting. I asked my wife to shut our bedroom door because the nightlight in the hallway was keeping me awake. It was stupid. I didn't know what I was thinking. Like clockwork, I heard my daughter's bedroom door creak open. I held my breath, then I heard the floorboards of the hallway creaking. I started shaking uncontrollably. I heard our bedroom door open, and I knew she was standing there, in the doorway, not moving, just looking at me. I didn't look. I couldn't. I did what I had told my daughter to do and pulled the covers over my head. I'm a complete mess, a zombie at work. I don't want to go home anymore. I think I see the woman in other places. I glance while driving, and I think she's sitting in the passenger seat of the truck behind me, or standing down the street as I drive off. Just sitting here at my desk, someone passes by behind me and I jump. I'm afraid that if I turn around, she'll be there, waiting for me to look at her. And what if I saw her face? I don't want to see it. I don't want to see her anymore, but I don't know what to do. The only hope I feel is that for unrelated reasons, my wife is talking about moving. But our lease isn't up until May. I don't know if I can hold out that long. Damn. I actually thought that they were gonna possess the daughter or something. That was my thought. Yeah. Yeah, I thought he was gonna possess the daughter or something. Whoop. Let's see. Alright, let's see. Sorry, I'm like looking through all these, but I didn't want you guys to do the clicking. What? Someone submitted something in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. What? It says Creepypasta to Skibbity Toilet. Yeah, exactly. Alright, I'll attempt to read it in an ASMR way. Era un día como cual, yeah, you know what? We're moving on. Yeah, we're done. We're done. Alright, let's see this. What is this next one? Oh, okay. It's so funny. Someone also submitted the Russian research thing. So unfortunately, we'll have to skip that one. Jesus. Wait, someone submitted a My Little Pony fan fiction. You know, next time I should just collect emails. I should just collect emails for Google Forms so that people can't be fucking stupid. Surely you read it now. Yeah, you know what? I think I will do that. Not for the thirst tweets though, or the confessions. Those can remain anonymous. For things like this, I will literally find you, and I will rip your throat out with my teeth. But you guys probably want that anyway. Is it Rainbow Factory? I'm not gonna lie to you, I think it actually is. They're making cupcakes. They're making cupcakes. I don't know if that's what's stopping them from making a fake email. Dude, people would not go. People would not go to those links. Yeah, the fact that you know exactly. Okay, I have no words. I have no words. Okay. I will open up responses again, okay? I'll open up responses again just for a little bit. Alright? We had a Friendship is Magic club back in high school. My friend's ex was the vice president. I'm very glad she moved on. Oh shit, you're right, Golden. Damn it, you're right. Oh my god. Dude, I'm actually going to kill my chat. Did the dad for what? Tropical? No. He's fucking paranoid. He's fucking afraid of her. Why? No. You weirdo. Dude, people are just submitting troll shit. I'm going to kill someone. Someone said looked for several sources but couldn't copy paste. Can't see, hold on. This one says, oh, okay, 21 minutes. That's not too bad. Dude, Creepypasta has so many, like, ads everywhere. Oh, it's on the motherfucker. Okay, there we go. I might need to get a new cord, actually. I think there's an issue with this one. That's better now, right? Good night, Oswego. Alright, give me 1 second, because I don't want you guys to hear the desktop audio. Hold on. Oh, wait. Did you hear the shit, I didn't even realize. Hold on a second. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I was clicking a lot, so I didn't want you guys to hear me. People keep sending links. Hold on. Okay, you guys get to hear the keyboard ASMR, actually. I don't mind that. Why not hear clicking? I know, I realized after that you guys might like the clicking. Why do so many of you guys not listen? Why do you guys not listen to me? Why do you guys not listen to me telling you to click the or not paste links? You fools. You fools. Stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. All of you. Except the ones that listened. You're not stupid. Yeah, I'm going to degrade you guys in ASMR. Okay? You're stupid. You actually cannot use your brain. Clearly. Okay, this one's... Okay, whoever... Wait. Okay, I think this is yours, Jazzy. I don't know where to... Where's... Wait, is this the entirety of part 1? Oh, no. Oh, I see. Okay, never mind. I see what it is now. Okay. Oh, wait, is that not yours? Oh, sorry, because this one's split into sections. I remember you mentioned that, but I wasn't sure if that was yours. Oh! Wait. Who said that? Oh my gosh. Someone said... Oh, I'm sorry. Is it yours? Is yours the search and rescue one? Because you didn't... Whoever's is the search and rescue one. Oh, okay, so you didn't follow the assignment. Okay, so Oddity didn't follow the assignment. Yeah, you're stupid. Sometimes I feel bad about, like, degrading my chat, but then I think that half of them, no, 80% of them don't mind it. 90%? Something like that. Anyways. Maths. Quick maths. Alright. Okay. I will go to the linked ones a little bit later, since you guys did not follow the assignment. So I will be putting you last. Dangerous territory. I did say that I wanted to do a degradation ASMR stream. Oh wait, where did my tail? Oh, there it is. I wanted to do a degradation ASMR for YouTube. But I don't know what I would do. That shit gotta be paywall. Dude, I know you're right. I did make a account on the funny little blue account. Not Blue Sky. I did do Blue Sky. But the other funny little one. Oh, Scar, you're still here. Threads? Threads isn't even blue. Yeah, a lot of people were like, oh, are you gonna do like IRL stuff? And I was like, no. Maybe? Not streams though. I would not do streams, sorry. Okay, anyways. This one's really short, so I'll read this one. Yes, Scar? Can I help you? Do you also want to be degraded? It's always the big buff ones that want to be degraded. Oh, it's fine, Jazzy. No one's gonna know. If they know, you can judge them. Alright. Yeah, this one's, yeah, no, everyone was like, oh, yeah, I'm trying to find you, but I can't find you on Blue Sky. First of all, yes, you can. I'm right there. Second of all, I'm like, oh, this is, yeah. Anyways. Thank you, Sauda. Thank you for explaining that. I didn't know how to put it into, like, simple terms. Okay. Next one. During the summer of 1983, in a quiet town in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the charred body of a woman was found inside the kitchen stove of a small farmhouse. A video camera was also at the scene, standing on a tripod pointing at the oven. No tape was found inside the camera at the time. Although the scene was originally labeled a homicide by police, an unmarked VHS tape was later discovered at the bottom of the farm's well, which had apparently dried up earlier that year. Despite its worn condition and the fact that it contained no audio, police were still able to view the contents of the tape. It depicted a woman recording herself in front of a video camera, seemingly the same one that the police had found in the kitchen. After positioning the camera to include both her and her kitchen stove in its view, she turned on the oven, opened the door, crawled inside, and then closed the door behind her. 8 minutes into the video, the oven could be seen shaking violently. At this point, thick, black smoke emanated from it. For the remaining 45-minute video, until the batteries in the camera died, it remained in its stationary position. To avoid disturbing the local community, the police never released any information about the tape, or even the fact that it was found. Police were also not able to determine who put the tape in the well, or why the height and stature of the woman in the video did not come close to matching the body that they had found in the oven. Ooh, spooky. You can win the Daytona 500. That's so turned. That's crazy. Spooky. Okay, if anyone past submission 25 has put in a link, I will literally grab you by the neck and shake you. Oh, the Lavender Town thing. Oh my god, I love that one. Okay, this is another short one. Bye, Kose. Bye, 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 bye. Sorry, I didn't see that. Sorry. In each story, I try not to, like, what is it? I try not to talk to chat. Yeah. But still. Okay, let's go. The Lavender Town Syndrome was a peak in suicides and illnesses of children between 7 and 12. In Japan, back in February 27, 1996, the phenomenon occurred shortly after the release of the first Pokemon games, Pokemon Red and Green. Rumors say that these suicides and illnesses only occurred after children playing the game reached Lavender Town. The location's theme music had extremely high frequencies that studies have shown only children and young teens can hear, because their ears are more sensitive. Due to this effect, at least 200 children supposedly committed suicide, and many developed conditions and afflictions. The children who killed themselves usually did so by hanging or jumping from heights. Those who did not often acted irrationally and complained of severe headaches after listening to the theme. This mass hysteria was caused by the first released version of the game. After the incidents, the programmers fixed the location's music to be at a lower frequency. Lavender Town now sounds differently depending on which Pokemon you are playing, but since that change, children are no longer affected by the song. One video appeared in 2010 using special software to analyze the audio waves of Lavender Town's music. When played, the software created images of the unknown near the end of the audio. This created controversy, since the unknown didn't appear in the series until the Generation 2 games. Silver, Gold, and Crystal. The arrangement of the unknown appears to translate to "Leave now." Dang, that's crazy. Do you think that that's real? I can't remember if this is not real or not. I can't remember if this is a real story. Oh, it's not? Man, that would have been fun. That would have been a good story. Well, no, because people died. So it probably wouldn't be a good story. Let's see. Children dying. No, children not dying. No, children dying is not good. Children dying is not good. Alright, let's see. No, I do remember that there was something about Lavender Town. Are you sure? She said fuck them kids. Dude, I would not. Oh my gosh, wait, asterisk. You're kind of cooking. I wouldn't doubt that Nintendo would purposely like try to hide stuff like that. Wait, you're kind of cooking. Raisa, hello. Welcome. Hi. How are you doing? The Porygon seizures? Oh, that was real. Oh, that was actually real? Oh, I didn't know that was actually a real thing. You did 12 hours? Oh my gosh. What? I hope you had a good stream, though. Thank you. Thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. I hope you're... you're still doing your subathon, right? Are you doing it where you end every day? Because that's probably smart. I would probably do that too. Thank you. Welcome everyone. My name is Hazmi. I am a lioness knight here to protect you forever, and today we are doing creepypasta ASMR readings. It's ended every day because oh, that's okay. That's okay. I totally get it. If I did one again, that's how I would do it too, honestly. Because I feel like I don't know. I think leaving it on is kind of weird. Oh yeah, the graveyard tower. Yeah. But please get some rest. Get some rest, please. I know it's pretty late for you too. Have a good night, though. I appreciate you giving me a raid. Bye. Take care. Yes, for everyone that has joined from Race's stream, welcome. Today, like I said, we're reading out creepypasta stories that chat has sent in. Some of them have followed the assignment, some of them have not, and I will kill them in Minecraft. But anyways, if you guys are looking to go to bed, want some spooky stories to be read to you by a lioness knight, then please stick around. We are just on our next story, actually, so perfect timing. Yeah, want some nightmares to go to sleep? Yeah. Okay, none of them are like that scary, I would say. I think the only really scary one was the one that Scar submitted about the guy under the bed. That was probably the scariest one. The one that I always think is super scary, I don't know if you guys know what it is. Oh, you probably do. But it's the one about like it's always people under beds. But it's the one about like the humans can lick too. I hate that one. That one is so scary. It's like that fear of like when you stick your leg out and like you think the demon's gonna get you from under the bed. That's like that fear. Oh, you don't know what that is? Oh shit, you don't know what that is? Ham. Oh my god. Okay, wait. Oh, I should find that one actually. Wait, does someone want to submit that one actually? Does someone want to copy and paste and submit that for me? I would love you forever. That one's a good one. Okay. Next story. About 5 years ago, I lived downtown in a major city in the US. I've always been a night person, so I would often find myself bored after a roommate, who was decidedly not a night person, went to sleep. To pass the time, I used to go for long walks and spend time thinking. I spent 4 years like that, walking alone at night, and never once had a reason to feel afraid. I always used to joke with my roommate that even the drug dealers in the city were polite, but all that changed in just a few minutes of one evening. It was a Wednesday, somewhere between 1 or 2 in the morning, and I was walking near a police-patrolled park, quite a ways away from my apartment. It was a quiet night, even for a weeknight, with very little traffic and almost no one on foot. The park, as it was most nights, was completely empty. I turned down a short side street in order to loop back to my apartment when I first noticed him. At the far end of the street, on my side, was the silhouette of a man dancing. It was a strange dance, similar to a waltz, but he finished each box with an odd forward stride. I guess you could say he was dance walking, headed straight for me. Deciding he was probably drunk, I stepped as close as I could to the road to give him the majority of the sidewalk to pass me by. The closer he got, the more I realized how gracefully he was moving. He was very tall and lanky, and wearing an old suit. He danced closer still, until I could make out his face. His eyes were open, wide and wild, head tilted back slightly, looking off at the sky. His mouth was formed in a painfully wide cartoon of a smile. Between the eyes and the smile, I decided to cross the street before he danced any closer. I took my eyes off him to cross the street the empty street. Sorry. As I reached the other side, I glanced back, and then stopped dead in my tracks. He had stopped dancing and was standing with one foot in the street, perfectly parallel to me. He was facing me, but still looking skyward, smile still wide on his lips. I was completely and utterly unnerved by this. I started walking again, but kept my eyes on the man. He didn't move. Once I had put about half a block between us, I turned away from him for a moment, to watch the sidewalk in front of me. The street and sidewalk ahead of me were completely empty. Still unnerved, I looked back to where he had been standing to find him gone. For the briefest of moments, I felt relieved, until I noticed him. He had crossed the street and was now slightly crouched down. I couldn't tell for sure due to the distance and the shadows, but I was certain he was facing me. I had looked away from him for no more than 10 seconds, so it was clear that he had moved fast. I was so shocked that I stood there for some time staring at him, and then he started moving towards me again. He took giant, exaggerated tiptoed steps, as if he were a cartoon character sneaking up on someone, except he was moving very, very quickly. I'd like to say at this point, I ran away or pulled out my pepper spray or my cell phone or anything at all, but I didn't. I just stood there, completely frozen, as the smiling man crept towards me. And then he stopped again, about a car length away from me, still smiling his smile, still looking at the sky. When I finally found my voice, I blurted out the first thing that came to mind. What I meant to ask was, "What the fuck do you want?" in an angry, commanding tone. What came out was a whimper. What the fuck? Regardless of whether or not humans can smell fear, they can certainly hear it. I heard it in my own voice, and that only made me more afraid. But he didn't react to it at all. He stood there, smiling. And then after what felt like forever, he turned around, very slowly, and started dance walking away. Just like that. Not wanting to turn my back on him again, I just watched him go until he was far enough away to almost be out of sight. And then I realized something. He wasn't moving away anymore, nor was he dancing. I watched in the horror as the distant shape of him grew larger and larger. He was coming back my way, and this time he was running. I ran too. I ran until I was off the side road and back onto a better lit road with sparse traffic. Looking behind me then, he was nowhere to be found. The rest of the way home I kept glancing over my shoulder, always expecting to see his stupid smile, but he was never there. I lived in that city for 6 months after that night, and I never went out for another walk. There was something about his face that always haunted me. He didn't look drunk, he didn't look high, he looked completely and utterly insane, and that was a very, very scary thing to see. Ooh, that's spooky. Man, now I don't want to go take my dog out. I feel like the scariest things are the ones that, like, don't touch you. Like, I guess in, like, paranormal or, like SCP or, like, things in this realm. I feel like the scariest ones, in my opinion, are the things that just stare or get really close to you and do nothing. That's scary. Your story involves a dog. It's so over. Can't see. Okay, this one's pretty short, so I'll read this and then I will let the ad play. Alright. This one says, "We all know his name." Excerpt from a local newspaper. "Ominous unknown killer is still at large. After weeks of unexplained murders, the ominous unknown killer is still on the rise. After little evidence has been found, a young boy states that he survived one of the killer's attacks and bravely tells his story. I had a bad dream, and I woke up in the middle of the night," says the boy. "I saw that for some reason the window was open, even though I remember it being closed before I went to bed. I got up and shut it once more. Afterwards, I simply crawled under my covers and tried to get back to sleep. That's when I had this strange feeling like someone was watching me. I looked up and nearly jumped out of my bed. There, in the little ray of light illuminating from between my curtains, were a pair of 2 eyes. These weren't regular eyes. They were dark, ominous eyes. They were bordered in black and just plain out terrified me. That's when I saw his mouth, a long, horrendous smile that made every hair on my body stand up. The figure stood there, watching me. Finally, after what seemed like forever, He said it. A simple phrase, but said it in a way only a madman could speak. He said, "Go to sleep." I let out a scream. That's what sent him at me. He pulled up a knife, aiming at my heart. He jumped on top of my bed. I fought him back. I kicked, I punched, I rolled around, trying to knock him off of me. That's when my dad busted in. The man threw the knife. It went into my dad's shoulder. The man probably would have finished him off if one of the neighbors hadn't alerted the police. They drove into the parking lot and ran towards the door. The man turned and ran down the hallway. I heard a smash like glass breaking. As I came out of my room, I saw the window that was pointed towards the back of my house was broken. I looked out to see him vanish into the distance. I can tell you one thing. I will never forget that face. Those cold, evil eyes and that psychotic smile. They will never leave my head. Police are still on the lookout for this man. If you see anyone that fits the description of the story, please contact your local police department. Wait, that was Jeff the Killer? Is that what you said? Oh, someone shared the Lavender story again, or Lavender Town story. Oh, wait! Oh my god! Wait! Oh my god! Someone submitted the licked hand one. Someone submitted it. Oh my god! Someone submitted it. This was before, though, I guess. Oh, that was you! Oh my god, Gilal, let's go! This is the one I was talking about. This is the one that I was talking about. Oh, you followed the assignment. Thank you. You get to hear it. Okay, I'm gonna play an ad right now. I'm gonna start my ad now so that we can get to the stories. Alright, let's go. Sorry if you have an ad. Oh, Jesus. Wait, Scar, how are you awake right now? Aren't you on the East Coast as well? Squeaky, I'm sorry. My next thing on the list is a chair. Jeff the Killer stories? Dude, I hate his face. It's so ugly. That was the abbreviated Jeff story. Okay. Oh, you had some things to do? Get some rest, sir. Get some rest. Or I guess you can... Well, I guess this is getting rest. You think he's got... Girl. Dude, it's like Jeff the Killer and that fucking, what is it? Momo or whatever? Sleep? Yes? Yeah, dude, that show is just, I hated it. Yeah. That diva. Yo, not twice, Momo. I know you know who I'm talking about, though. Or what I'm talking about. Spoopy. And that dog with... Oh my god, the dog with the teeth. I know what you're talking about. I once saw a thing, like an AI-generated thing of anime girls looking like those things, and I literally wanted to just jump off a building. Yeah, smile dog. Oh god, Jazzy, I'm so sorry. On the rake, ooh. You know, actually, stories that I absolutely love. I don't know why. I love like cryptid stories, like Skinwalkers. I love Skinwalker creepypastas or Skinwalker stories. I don't know why. I have like a weird, not that like I'm into them, but like I'm into them, you know? I don't know what it is. Oh, really? People camping alone in nature? Dude, honestly, if any of you have Skinwalker creepypastas, please submit them because I really like those. I think we found our kink. No. No. I eat that stuff. Or no sleep. Okay, I'm not gonna go on there. Yeah, right? I don't know what it is, but Skinwalker stories just like so like they get you like all creeped out, you know? I don't know what it is. I think like as I grow older and again more accustomed to like horror stories and stuff and horror things and all that from being a VTuber, I feel like it's just like, what is the word? I don't know what the word for it. It's just like I'm just like so used to it now. I'm enjoying the creepiness. Is that weird? I don't know if that's weird or not. Probably not. I'm just gonna say I'm normal. Okay. I think we're back. No, it's not. Okay. Wait, not weird? Okay. I think it's pretty normal. Let's fucking go. Okay. Let me see. Where was I? Okay. Grab some water. It wouldn't be on a TV. That is true, actually. I know there's a bunch of like horror enthusiasts. I'm definitely not like there because I'm still like afraid of that shit, but some of it's fun. Okay. Oh, I love this one so much. It's really short, but I love it. Okay. The Licked Hand. A beautiful young girl is left home alone with only your dog to protect her. On the news that night, they announce there is a serial killer loose on the area. Before she goes to bed, she locks all the doors and tries to lock the windows, but the one in her basement won't lock. She decides to leave it unlocked, but locks the basement door and goes to bed. Her dog takes its customary place under her bed. In the deep of the night, she awakens to a dripping sound coming from her bathroom. Half awake, the girl feels the comforting lick from her dog and falls back asleep. She reawakens to the dripping sound, reaches her hand down to the dog where she feels the reassuring lick, and falls back to sleep. Once more, she awakens to the dripping sound. She reaches her hand down and feels the lick of her dog. Now curious about the dripping sound, she gets up and slowly walks towards the bathroom. The dripping sound gets louder as she approaches. She reaches the bathroom and turns on the light. She's greeted by a horrific sight. Hanging from the shower nozzle is her dog with its throat slit open and blood dripping into the bathtub. Something on the bathroom mirror catches her eye. She turns around. Written on the wall in her dog's blood are the words, "Humans can lick too." I love this. I think this is like my favorite creepypasta. No, this is my favorite creepypasta. You can't. Like, it's so short. It's so short, but it's just so creepy and could actually happen in real life. It's just like, it's literally, it has all the elements, you know? Bye, Sarah. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you. I'm so glad you think it's cozy. The John Wick clause is crazy. Oh my god. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Humans can lick too. Oh. Yeah, the ending. Dude, the first time I read that, I was like, holy shit. Oh my god. Crazy. Crazy. Okay, let's see. Davina, thank you so much for the 200 bits now. Thank you. I appreciate it. People say they don't get it, are psychopaths. That's so wonderful about horror movies. I mean, yeah, obviously. But it's just that this one, like, obviously, I love my dog. You know, if this happened to Sora, I would kill a bitch in Minecraft. But like, the way that it just has that impact is so like chef's kiss, you know? Oh shit, this one's kinda long. Actually, it's a lot. Oh wait, it's kinda long. That's fine. I'll read it anyway. No one messes with my pupper. Yeah, exactly, Galal. I think that's what I enjoyed about it too, because it's like, so what happens next? Like, is she gonna die? Oh fuck! I hit the cord. Sorry, I hit the cord. I need a new cord. Sorry, gang. Sorry. Oh, motherfucker! Oh my god. Dude. Okay, I need a new 3DO. Yeah, I need a new 3DO card. What the heck? Wait, I'm afraid that it's the 3DO. The actual... I really hope it's not this. I mean, this was a gift from a friend who just stopped streaming, but at the same time, I'm like, this is a very expensive thing, so I really don't want it to be a... Yeah. I really hope not. But I haven't... Not the 3D. I haven't even touched it in a long time. It's just been sitting on my, like, stand. So I'm like, there's no way. Whatever. Anyways, okay. Hopefully I don't hit it again. I'm gonna figure it out later, though. Most likely the cord. I really hope so. I really hope so. Okay. Alright. This one is titled, Something Walks Whistling Past My House Every Night at 3:03. Every night, no matter the weather, something walks down our street whistling softly. You can only hear it if you're in the living room or the kitchen when they walk by, and it always starts exactly at 3:03. The sound starts faint, somewhere near the beginning of the lane, near the Carson place. We're towards the middle of the street, so the whistling moves past us before fading away in the direction of the cul-de-sac. When I was younger, my sister and I would sneak into the kitchen some nights to listen. My mom and dad didn't like that we'd catch hell if they found us, but they were never too hard on us since we always stuck to one big rule. Don't try to look at whatever was whistling. My neighborhood is a funny place. I've lived here since I was 6, and I've loved it. The houses are small but well kept, good-sized yards, plenty of places to roam. There are a lot of other kids here my age. I turned 13 back in October. We grew up together and would always play foursquare in the cul-de-sac or roam from the back porch to back porch in the summer. This was a good place to grow up. I'm old enough to see it. And there's only the two strange things here. The night whistling and the good luck. The whistling never bothered me much. Like I said, I could even hear it from my bathroom, or my bedroom rather. But Mom and Dad didn't like talking about it, so I've stopped asking questions. My dad is a strong guy, tall and calm. He has an accent since he moved to the US as a kid. His family, my grandparents, they're from the islands. That's what they call it. My dad, the only time he isn't so calm is if the whistler comes up. He talks a little quicker then, eyes move faster, and he tells us not to think about it so much, and to always remember the one rule, the big rule. Don't try to look outside when the whistler goes past. Not that we could look even if we wanted to. See, there are shutters on the inside of every window, thick pieces of heavy canvas that pull down from the top and latch to the bottom of the window frame. Each latch even has a small lock, about the size of what you'd find on a diary. My dad locks those shutters every night before we all go to bed and keeps the key in his room. My mom, I don't know what she thinks about the whistling. I've seen her out of the living room before at 3:03 when the sound starts. I could see her if I cracked my door open just an inch to peek. She's not out there often. At least I haven't caught her much. But once or twice a month, I think she sits out there on our big red couch, just listening. The whistler had the same tune every night. It's cheerful. Da 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 dum. Da 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 dum. I probably don't say that right. Remember how I said there are two odd things about where I live? Well, besides our night whistler, everyone in my neighborhood is really lucky. Couldn't be me. It's hard to explain, and Dad doesn't like us talking about this part much either, but good things just seem to happen to a lot of people around here. Usually it's small things, winning a radio contest, or getting an unexpected promotion at work, or finding some arrowheads buried in the yard. You know, the authentic kind. The weather's pretty good, there's no crime, and everyone's gardens bloom extra bright in the fall. A million little blessings, I've heard my mom say about living here. But the main reason we stay here, why we moved here in the first place, is my sister Nola. She was born very sick, something with her lungs. We couldn't even bring her home when she was born, only visited her in the hospital. She was so small, I remember. Small even compared to the other babies. A machine had to breathe for her. We moved into our house here to be closer to the hospital. As soon as we moved here, Nola started getting better. The doctors couldn't figure it out. They chalked it up to whatever they were doing, but we could all tell they were confused. But my parents knew. Even I knew. Nola getting better was just another of the million little blessings we got for living in our neighborhood. So that's why we even stayed after we found out, for every small miracle that happens here every day. Now and then, something bad happens. But they only happen if you look for the whistler. See, our neighborhood has a welcoming committee. They show up with macaroni casserole and a gift basket and a manila folder whenever someone new moves in. They're very friendly. 4 people showed up when we moved in 7 years ago. The committee made small talk, gave me a Snickers bar, and took turns holding Nola. It was her first week out of the hospital, so they were extra careful. Then the committee asked to speak to my parents in private, so I was sent to my room, where I still managed to hear every word. The welcoming committee told my parents about how nice the neighborhood was. Really exceptionally. Hard to explain kind of nice. And then they told my parents about the even harder to explain whistling that happened every morning at 3:03 and ended at the tick of 3:05. The group, our new neighbors, warned my parents that the whistling was quiet, would never harm or hurt us as long as we didn't look for what was making that sound. This part they stressed, and I pushed my ear into the door, straining to hear them. People who went looking for the whistler had their luck change, sometimes tragically. A black cloud would hang over anyone that looked. Anything that could go wrong would. That's me. The manila envelope the committee brought over contained newspaper clippings, stories about car crashes and ruined lives, public deaths, and freak accidents. Not everyone dies, I heard the head of the committee tell my dad, but the life goes out of them. Even if they live, there's no light in them ever again. No presence. My mom, I could tell she wasn't taking it seriously. She kept asking if this was some prank. We plan on new neighbors. At one point, my mom got angry and accused the committee of trying to scare us out of our new home. Asked them if they were racist on account of my dad being from the islands. My dad calmed her down, told her he could tell our new neighbors were sincere and they were just trying to help us. He explained that he grew up hearing these kinds of stories from his mom, and that he knew they were strange, that there were strange things that walked among us. Some of these strange things were good, and some were bad, but most were just different. After the committee left, Dad went out to the hardware store, bought the canvas blinds, the latches, and the locks, and installed them on every window in the house after dinner. That first night in our new house, I crept out of my room at 3 a.m., only to find my dad awake, sitting on the living room couch, holding my baby sister. My dad held up his finger in a shh motion, but patted the couch next to him. I sat, and we waited. At exactly 3:03, we heard the whistling. It came and it went, just like our neighbors said. The whistling returns each night, and we never look, and we enjoy a million little blessings every day. Nola breathes on her own, and she's grown into a strong, clever girl. My dad even joined the welcoming committee. We don't get new neighbors often. Why would they want to leave? But when a new family moves in, my dad and the committee bring them a macaroni casserole, a gift basket, and a manila folder. I can always tell by the look on my dad's face when he comes back if the family took the committee seriously, or if we'd be getting new neighbors very soon. Not long ago, a family moved directly next to us. The previous owner, Miss Maddie, passed away at age 105. She lived a good, long life. Our new neighbors seemed like they'd fit in just fine. They believed the welcoming committee, took my dad's advice about locking the shutters since they had a young child of their own. Whatever newspaper clippings were in the manila folder, whatever evidence, my dad never let us see. But I imagine it must have been awfully convincing, since our neighbors got along with no issues for the first month. One night, when our new neighbors had to leave town, they sent their son Holden to stay with us. He was 12, a year under me in school. I didn't know him well before that night, but as soon as his parents dropped him off after dinner, I could tell it was going to be a bad time. Do you know who was always out there whistling every night? Holden asked the moment the adults left the room. The 3 of us were sitting in the den, some Disney movie, playing idly on the television. My sister and I exchanged a glance. We don't talk about that, I said. I think it's that weirdo that lives in the yellow big house Big yellow house in the corner, Holden said. Mr. Tolles? My sister asked. No way. He's really nice. Holden shrugged. Must be a psycho killer then. Nola tensed. We don't talk about it, I repeated. Let's go in my room to play Nintendo. We spent the next few hours playing games, eating popcorn, and then watching movies. A typical sleepover, but I could see Holden was getting antsy. After my parents had wished us a good night, locked the blinds, and gone to bed, Holden stood up from his beanbag and walked over to where Nola and I were sitting on my bed. Have you ever tried looking? He asked. It's nearly time. Like most sleepovers, we conveniently ignored any suggestion of a bedtime. I was shocked to see he was right. It was almost 3 a.m. I sighed. We don't. See? I can't. I can't even try to look, because my dad locks the blinds every night and hides the key, he continued, ignoring me. So does our dad, said Nola. No, replied Holden. No, he doesn't. You saw him do it, I said, a little sharper than I meant to sound. Holden grinned. Your dad locks the blinds, yeah, but he doesn't hide the key. He keeps it right on his normal keychain. So? I asked, worried I already knew what he would say next, because I had noticed that my dad didn't bother hiding the key anymore after all these years, because he knew how seriously we took it. So after your dad locked up before your parents went to bed, I went to the bathroom, and on my way, I may have peeked into their room, and I may have seen your dad's keychain on his nightstand, and I maybe went in and borrowed the key to the blinds. Nola and I stared, and his grin only grew wider. You're lying, I said. Holden shrugged. You can check if you want. Just open your parents' door and look. You'll see his keychain right there on the nightstand. Stay here, I told both of them. Don't move a muscle. I hurried over to my parents' room, but hesitated at the door. If Holden wasn't lying, my dad would be angry. Beyond angry. I was scared thinking about it, but more scared of an open window with the whistler right outside. I opened my door, barely an inch, and looked in, but it was too dark to see. Taking a deep breath, I walked into the room. 2 steps into the dark, I froze. The whistling started, and I could hear it quickly. What? Wait, what? Oh my god. Wait, what? Oh my god, wait, now I'm scared. Wait, 2 steps into the dark, I froze. The whistling started, and I could hear it clearly from my parents' room. I never realized, but they must have heard the sound every night since we moved into the house. They never told us. I don't think I could have slept through it. I stood there, listening to the whistling come closer, unsure whether I should turn on a light or call out for my dad. Soft sounds from the living room brought me back to reality. Nola, I yelled, running out of my parents' room. Holden and Nola were standing in their front door next to a window. Holden wasn't lying. I could see him fumbling with the lock on one of the blinds. I heard a click. He did have the key. Holden let out a quick laugh. Nola stood next to him, hunched up, afraid but maybe curious. The whistling was right outside our house now. I think I made a sound. Call out. I can't remember. Time felt frozen. Clock hands nailed to the face, but I found myself moving. I'm not fast. I've never been athletic. Somehow, though, I covered the space between myself and Nola in a moment. My eyes were locked onto her, but I heard Holden pull the blind all the way down so I could release. I heard the snap of it start to raise, and I heard the whistling just on the other side of the window. But I had my arms around Nola, and I turned us around so she was facing away from the window. At the same time, I jammed my eyes shut. The blind whipped open. I felt Nola shaking in my arms. Don't look, okay? I told her. Don't turn around. We were positioned so that she was facing back towards the hallway, and I was facing the window. My eyes were still closed. I felt her nod into my shoulder. I reached out with my arm, not holding Nola, and tried to touch Holden. My hand brushed against his arm. He was shaking worse than Nola. Holden? I asked. Silence. I reached past him and gingerly felt for the windows, eyes still sealed shut. The glass was cold against my fingertips, colder than it should have been for this time of the year. I moved my hand up the window, searching for the string to the blind. The glass began to get warmer the further I reached, and there was a gentle hum feeding back into my fingertips. I tried not to think about what might be on the other side of the window. Finally, I touched the string and yanked the blinds shut. I opened my eyes, a dim light leaking out from the kitchen. I could make out Holden, pale and small, staring at the now closed window. "Holden?" I asked again. He turned towards me and screamed. Everything became a flurry of motion. Lights sparked to life in the hall, then in the living room. My parents' footsteps thudded across the hardwood floor. I didn't turn to look back at them. My eyes were glued to Holden. He was pale. He had bit his lips so hard there was a thin, red line of blood running down his chin, and he'd wet himself. "What happened?" my dad asked from behind me. I managed to swivel away from Holden and looked back. He looked. I'd never seen my dad scared before, but I saw it that night, in that moment. An old, ugly tear stitched on his face. A parent's fear. "Just Holden?" he mouthed to me. I nodded yes. My dad let out a breath. He looked so relieved I nearly expected him to cheer. But then he turned to Holden, and my dad's face changed. I wonder if he felt bad for feeling good that Holden was the only one that looked. There was a knock at the door. We all froze. Holden whimpered, "Don't answer it," my mom said. She stood at the threshold of the hall. I'd always thought she was a skeptic and just humored my dad about the windows and the whistler, but that night we were all believers. I noticed that both my parents held baseball bats they must have taken from their room. The knock came again, a little louder this time. "Please don't open the door," Holden whimpered. My dad walked over to him, hugged him close. "We won't," my dad promised, still holding his bat. "Nothing is coming in here tonight." Thud, thud, thud. This time the knocking was loud enough to rattle the door. Holden screamed again, and Nola clutched his arms around my neck. Nola clutched her arms around my neck. My mom came over and knelt down next to us, wrapping my sister and me close. Thud, thud, thud. "Call the police?" my mom whispered to my dad. The knocking instantly stopped. Oh my god, wait. Sorry, I'm reading on ahead. I'm scared. Okay. The knocking instantly stopped. My dad looked over his shoulder at us. "Do you think—" He was cut off by frantic knocking and trailed off to a polite tap, tap, tap. "Police," something said from the other side of the door. The voice came from outside, sounded exactly like my mom, like a parrot repeating the words back to her. "Police. Call the police." Tap, tap, tap. "Police. Please stop," I heard her whisper. "I don't think calling them will help," my dad said. "How will we know when they're the ones at the door?" The knocking came back harder than before. The door shook, and then it stopped. After a long moment, I heard the knocking again, but it was coming from our back door. We all turned together towards the back door, but the knocking immediately returned to the front door. Front to back to front. Loud, then quiet, then loud again. Suddenly, the sound was coming from both doors at once. Big, heavy blows like a sledgehammer. Then something started rapping against all of the windows in the house. Then the walls. It was like we were living inside a drum with a dozen people trying to play at once. Or we were a turtle and something was attempting to claw us out of our shell. "Stop," Holden yelled. Then the knocking died. "I won't tell," Holden said, staring at the door. "I promise I won't tell anyone what I saw. Just please go away." We waited for nearly a minute. Then we heard it. A soft tap, 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 coming from the window Holden had looked through earlier. Holden started to cry, sobbing like a prisoner watching gallows being built outside their cell. My dad held him, brushed his hair, but never lied to him, never told him things would be okay. The tapping at the window went on for the rest of the night. We huddled together in the living room for I don't know how long. Eventually, my mom tried to take us kids into my room, while my dad stayed to watch the door. But the second we moved into my bedroom, the knocking came back. So loud it was impossible to ignore. I was afraid the door couldn't take it. We went back to the living room, and the knocking stopped. Only the tap, tap, tap on the window remained. None of us slept that night. The tapping stopped around 7 a.m. That's about the time the sun comes up here. We waited another 2 hours before my dad opened the blinds from one window. He made us all go back to my parents' bedroom first. I heard him open the door, and then come back in. "Okay," he told us. "It's done." Holden's parents came back around lunchtime. My mom and dad walked Holden over to his house, and they all went inside for quite a while. Nolan and I watched from the window. She stuck to me the whole day, right at my side, sometimes holding my hand. When my parents came back, they looked grim, but wouldn't tell us what they said to Holden's family. It was a Sunday, so we all spent the day together, ordered pizza, and watched movies. That night, everyone slept in my room. Nola and my mom in the bed with me, and my dad in the chair he pulled over. There was no knocking that night, or any night since. We didn't see much of Holden or his parents for the rest of the week, but by Thursday, there was a moving truck in their driveway. Nola and I watched them packing up the whole afternoon after school. What sticks to me most is how tired Holden and his parents looked. All three of them had the same pallor, grim mouths and lightless eyes. Even from across the street, I could tell something was very, very wrong. Holden and his family were gone before sunset. I remember what the original welcoming committee said to my parents when I moved in. Not everyone who looks at the Whistler dies, but those that live have the light go out of them, and the rest of their lives are full of misfortunes, millions of little tragedies. I think Holden's parents must have looked, either to comfort him if they didn't believe, or share the burden if they did. I watched Nola some days, happy and young to be alive. I wonder if I'd been slower, if she'd looked out the window that night. Would I have looked too? To comfort her? To share the burden? I'm glad I don't have to find out. We still live in that house, in that neighborhood. We still hear our Whistler walking past every night. The blessings, the luck, the good things here are too good to leave, but we're careful. We don't have friends over to spend the night anymore, and my dad hides the key to the blinds very, very well. Not that I've gone looking. Some things you just don't need to look for. Dang, that was a long one. That was really creepy though. I feel like that was one of the most creative stories that I've heard. Yet. Sound alerts are not off. However, I'm begging you not to play anything really loud, or I will cry. Also, Lazarus, thank you so much for the 2 gift subs. I'm sorry I couldn't say anything earlier, and thank you so much for the follow. I didn't want to say anything earlier just because I didn't want to interrupt the story, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm not sure if you're still here, but thank you so much. Hi, Mark. Wow, that was actually really long. I wasn't expecting it to go that long. Let's see. Oh, this is the rake one. Do not worry, this one's not long at all. Are you still chilling? Oh my god, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the what is it called? The 2 gift subs. This closed caption. Oh my god, thank you. Things very well. Dude, I'm scared. I'm like, damn, I wonder, what it actually was there. What was in the door? You know? It's actually, kind of scary to think about, low-key. Hold on a second, I have to type something out really fast. Sorry. Keyboard. The keycaps are heavenly. That's good. Okay. Alright. Our next one. So the ones that were linked to me, I might not end up reading them, just because they're quite long. But we'll see. Okay. During the summer of 2003, events in the northeastern United States involving a strange, human-like creature sparked brief local media interest before an apparent blackout was enacted. Little or no information was left intact, as most online and written accounts of the creature were mysteriously destroyed. Primarily focused in rural New York State and once found in Idaho, self-proclaimed witnesses told stories of their encounters with a creature of an unknown origin. Emotions range from extremely traumatic levels of fright and discomfort to most childlike sense of playfulness and curiosity. While their published versions are no longer on the record, the memories remain powerful. Several of the involved parties began looking for answers that year. Oh shit, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. Ugh. Dude, I think the cord is actually... Oh my god. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have muted. I'm so sorry. Guys, I'm so sorry. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I feel horrible. I feel horrible. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, you guys, I am so freaking sorry. I'm so sorry. I genuinely feel so bad. Oh my god. I think I just got my pen. The MTV unboxed. Free head scratches? Okay. Go. There you go. I know. Literally everyone was like, I'm up. I'm awake. Good morning. I sincerely apologize. I'm so sorry. I feel like the morning cat who can't look straight. What happened? I'm sorry. I unplugged. Okay, so for those that weren't asleep, I unplugged my mic and replugged it back in, but my dumbass forgot to mute before I did that. Like a fool. Alright. Anyways, let's continue. Okay. In early 2006, the collaboration had accumulated nearly 24 documents dating between the 12th century and present day, spanning 4 continents. In almost all cases, the story were identical. I've been in contact with a member of this group and was able to get some excerpts from their upcoming book. A note, 1964. I feel it necessary to assuage any guilt or pain. I definitely did not say that right. Introduced by my actions. It is not the fault of anyone other than him. For once I awoke, I felt his presence. And once I awoke and saw his form, once again I awoke and heard his voice and looked into his eyes. I cannot sleep without fear of what I might next awake to experience. I cannot ever wake. Goodbye. Found on the same wooden box were 2 empty envelopes addressed to William and Rose, and 1 loose personal letter with no envelope. Dearest Lenny, I have prayed for you. He spoke your name. A journal entry translated from Spanish, 1880. I have experienced the greatest terror. I have experienced the greatest terror. I have experienced the greatest terror. I see his eyes when I close mine. They are hollow, black. They saw me and pierced me. His wet hand, I will not sleep. His voice. That's it. A Mariner's Log, 1691. He came to me in my sleep. From the foot of my bed, I felt a sensation. He took everything. We must return to England. We shall not return here again at the request of the rake. From a witness, 2006. 3 years ago, I had just returned from a trip from Niagara Falls with my family for the 4th of July. We were all very exhausted after a long day of driving, so my husband and I put the kids right to bed and called it a night. At about 4 a.m., I woke up thinking my husband had gotten up to use the restroom. I used the moment to steal back the sheets, only to wake him up in the process. I apologized and told him I thought he got out of bed. When he turned to face me, he gasped and pulled his feet up from the end of the bed so quickly his knee almost knocked me out of the bed. He then grabbed me and said nothing. After adjusting to the dark for half a second, I was able to see what caused that strange reaction. At the foot of the bed, sitting and facing away from us, there was what appeared to be a naked man or a large, hairless dog of some sort. Its body position was disturbing and unnatural, as if it had been hit by a car or something. For some reason, I was not instantly frightened by it, but more concerned as to its condition. At this point, I was somewhat under the assumption that we were supposed to help him. My husband was peering over his arm and knee, tucked into the fetal position, occasionally glancing at me before returning to the creature. In a flurry of motion, the creature scrambled around the side of the bed, then crawled quickly in a flailing sort of motion right along the bed until it was less than a foot from my husband's face. The creature was completely silent for about 30 seconds, or probably closer to 5. It just seemed like a while, just looking at my husband. The creature then placed its hand on his knee and ran into the hallway, leading to the kids' room. I screamed and ran for the light switch, planning to stop him before he hurt my children. When I got to the hallway, the light from the bedroom was enough to see it crouching and hunched over about 20 feet away. He turned around and looked directly at me, covered in blood. I flipped the switch on the wall and saw my daughter, Clara. The creature ran down the stairs while my husband and I rushed to help our daughter. She was very badly injured and spoke only once more in her short life. She said, "He is the rake." My husband drove his car to into a lake that night while rushing our daughter to the hospital. They did not survive. Being a small town, news got around pretty quickly. The police were helpful at first, and the local newspaper took a lot of interest as well. However, the story was never published, and the local television news never followed up either. For several months, my son Justin and I stayed in a hotel room near my parents' house. After we decided to return home, I began looking for answers myself. I eventually located a man in the next town over who had a similar story. We got in contact and began talking about our experience. He knew of 2 other people in New York who had seen the creature we now referred to as the rake. It took the 4 of us about 2 solid years of hunting on the internet and writing letters to come up with a small collection of what we believed to be accounts of the rake. Oh my goodness, thank you guys so much for the raid. Hi, Sebi. Hello, welcome in. Hi. Hello. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome. Sorry to interrupt the story. Welcome. Hi, everyone. Psychotic Soul, thank you so much for the tier 2 gifts up to Sebi. Hi. Yeah, it's story time. Welcome in. My name is Hazmi. I'm a lioness knight here to protect you forever, and today we are reading creepypasta stories that were sent in from chat. We have a few more that we have to read, but I hope you guys enjoy. If you need to get some sleep, please feel free to. Welcome in. You're a baby about creepypasta stories. It's okay. If you guys don't feel comfortable listening to scary stories, don't feel the need to stay. If you guys are tired, also don't feel the need to stay. You as well, Sevi, of course. You as well. What were you guys doing today? Oh, I need someone to hold your hand. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But thank you guys. I really appreciate it. 7 hours of ASMR. Oh my god, you're so brave. I will say I am not an ASMR streamer. So I'm sorry if things are a little scuffed. I just like getting comfy with my chat. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Okay, alright, I'm just finishing up this story and then we're on to the next one. Okay, let's see. I'll reread some of it. Okay. It took the four of us about 2 solid years of hunting on the internet and writing letters to come up with a small collection of what we believed to be accounts of the rake. None of them gave any details, history, or follow-up. One journal had an entry involving the creature in its first 3 pages and never mentioned it again. A ship's log explained nothing of the encounter, saying only they were told to leave by the rake. That was the last entry in the log. There were, however, many instances where the creature's visit was one of the series of visits with the same person. Multiple people also mentioned being spoken to, my daughter included. This led us to wonder if the rake had visited any of us before our last encounter. I set up a digital recorder near my bed and left it running all night, every night, for 2 weeks. I would tediously scan through the sounds of me rolling around in my sleep each day when I woke up. By the end of the 2nd week, I was quite used to the occasional sound of sleep while blurring through the recording at 8 times the normal speed. On the first day of the 3rd week, I thought I heard something different. What I found was a shrill voice. It was the rake. I can't listen to it long enough to even begin to transcribe it. I haven't let anyone listen to it yet. All I know is that I've heard it before, and I now believe that it spoke when I was sitting in front of my husband. I don't remember hearing anything at the time, but for some reason, the voice on the recorder immediately brings me back to that moment. The thoughts that must have gone through my daughter's head make me very upset. I've not seen the rake since he ruined my life, but I know that he has been in my room while I slept. I know, and I fear that one night I'll wake up to him staring at me. Spooky! So spooky. Despite the subject matter, yeah. Hi, Shark! Oh my god, this is 30 minutes long. Okay, wait. Damn, this is scary. Yes. Spooky, spooky, spooky. I also love cryptids. Okay. I'm gonna see if there's any shorter stories really quick. Oh. Okay, I don't think this is a creepypasta. I think this is someone's, like, nightmare. Okay. Nightmare. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that Sevi didn't raid me when I unplugged my mic. The way I would have cried, I would have just ended stream. Fuck, again? Okay, maybe it is the cord. The cord is probably the issue. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, I'm muting, okay? Hold on. Okay. I think it is actually the cord and not the actual device itself, because it looks like when I wiggle the cord, that's when it starts to, like, even the jack. I think the jack might be messed up. Thank you guys so much for the follows as well. I appreciate it. Like Steffi probably told you, I'm not an ASMR streamer by any means. I like recording ASMRs. It's mostly scripts, so I would say that this kind of falls into the category of that. But like ASMR triggers and stuff, like I don't really do that too much. Not too much. But I really appreciate the follows. Thank you guys. I do. Yeah, so on Patreon, I feel really bad. I didn't get to do it last month. So I'll be making it up by doing it this month, and hopefully recording something for Halloween as well, strictly for Patreon. That'll be out soon. It's because I've been streaming so much recently, so I feel really, really bad that I've been neglecting the people on Patreon. I feel horrible. And then after 2 months, those get uploaded to YouTube. But I also have to keep up with that too. There's a lot of stuff I have to do. Okay. Anyways. This one is called We deleted you. Like the Nintendo Wii. I got a Wii on my 7th birthday on November 28th, 2006, about 9 days after the Wii was released. I still remember the moment when my dad gave me the present, and then I quickly ripped it open. Whoa, a Wii! Thanks, Dad, I exclaimed in happiness. After that, I begged my dad to help me set it up. When he was done, he finally helped me set up the Wii remote in the living room. The Wii in the living room. What surprised me about the Wii controller... Oh my gosh, sorry, I cannot read right now. What surprised me about the Wii is the controller, because it reminded me so much of a TV remote. This seems very stupid. I'm sorry. I'll still read it. It just seems a little dumb. Hi, Ollie. Thank you for the 100 bits. No, I am not going to yell really loudly. I already blasted my chat's ears earlier. Okay, sorry. This is the one time I've ever really, well, except for the raid, interrupted a story to say something because this just seems a little dumb. But I'll read it. I'll read it anyway. Okay. After my dad set it up, he left me to play. I was going to play Wii Sports, but something else caught my eye. The Me channel. So I opened that up instead. But when I got into the Me channel, there was a single Me. I clicked on him and found that the Me's name was Edilid. Oh, wait, sorry, there's sirens. I'm going to pause. Wait, could you hear that? It might as well have been part of the creepypasta. Okay, I'm glad I muted it. I muted my mic when I did because the sirens got even louder. So if you guys were able to hear those sirens, it would have been really bad if you could hear the other ones. Okay. The name Edilid didn't make sense to me until I looked really closely at the letters. Then I found out that Edilid is actually delete, spelled backwards. I took a good look at Edilid. He was bald, with a big smiling mouth, giant eyes, and a small nose. He was starting to creep me out, so I deleted him. Then I started to make a me version of me, so I clicked the button to make a new me and named it Kyle, my actual name. But when I got back to the Me Plaza area, Edilid was back, with that same creepy look, so I deleted him with the first chance I got. I was a little creeped out, but I decided to forget about it and play Wii Sports. I liked Wii Sports. Mainly because it was a compilation of 5 sports. Tennis, baseball, bowling, golf, and boxing. I decided to play bowling because it was my favorite sport. My me was in a bowling alley with the other me's, and sometimes I see the me in the next lane to mine throwing the ball, and then I saw it. The me hit a strike and turned around to celebrate, but his face looked exactly like Edilid's, and I assumed it was him. So I quit Wii Sports and went back to the Me channel. Before I deleted Edilid, a dialogue box appeared saying, "Why are you trying to delete me?" And I started to get creeped out. I spoke out loud. What do you mean? I said. I didn't think he would hear me, but strangely he did. Oh, you know what I mean, it said. I just don't want you on my Me channel, I'm sorry. I said, and the words changed again. Oh, really? Me's have feelings too. How would you feel if I deleted you? It said, and that's when I realized I was talking to Edilid. I'm sorry, this is so stupid. Who submitted this? The dialogue box disappeared, and it revealed the scariest picture I've ever seen. It was a picture of Edilid's face, with the same creepy features, but more gruesome. His eyes were replaced with gaping holes of blood pouring down. I was so scared that I clicked the home button and ran to my dad. "Dad, there's something wrong with my Wii," I said with a scared voice. I let my dad into the living room and I turned on the home menu, and surprisingly, it looked normal. My dad said I was probably playing too much and I should take a break, so I did. I pressed the home button again and took a 15-minute break. When I went back to the Wii and turned off the home menu, a dialogue box sang, "Goodbye, Kyle," upon which the Me channel automatically turned off and went back to the home menu. I tried to go back to the Me channel, but every time I did, a dialogue box appeared saying, "We deleted you," and took me back to the Wii menu. I soon realized that Adelaide somehow deleted me in a way that I could not make any more Miis, and that meant that no matter what game I played, I always had to play as Adelaide. Why the fuck did I read that? That was probably the worst creepypasta. That was actually the most god-awful thing I have ever read in my life. Please show yourself. Who did that? Literally, who added this? Whoever put this in, you're banned. I do need to do the collecting emails. Moral of the story, bullying bad. I don't think that was the moral of the story. It wasn't atrocious. It was very corny. Look, did you put it in? Was that you? Yeah, the story was definitely made by a child. Alright, this one is called The Portraits. This one's very short. The Portraits. There was a dark hunter in the woods, who, after a long day of hunting, was in the middle of an immense forest. It was getting dark, and having lost his bearings, he decided to head in one direction until he was clear of the increasingly oppressive foliage. After what seemed like hours, he came across a cabin in a small clearing. Realizing how dark it had grown, he decided to see if he could stay there for the night. He approached and found the door ajar. Nobody was inside. The hunter flopped down on the single bed, deciding to explain himself to the owner in the morning. As he looked around the inside of the cabin, he was surprised to see the walls adorned by several portraits, all painted in incredible detail. Without exception, they appeared to be staring down at him, their features twisted into looks of hatred and malice. Staring back, he grew increasingly uncomfortable. Making a concerted effort to ignore the many hateful faces, he turned to face the wall, and exhausted, he fell into a restless sleep. The next morning, the hunter awoke. He turned blinking in unexpected sunlight. Looking up, he discovered that the cabin had no portraits, only windows. Oh wait, that's kind of creepy actually. At first I was like, oh, is he seeing things? But no, there was people looking at him outside. Okay, this one's also pretty short, so I can do this one. Oh wait, I was gonna say you don't have to snooze the ad. It's okay. I'll read this one and then I'll just, no, it's okay, I'll just play the ad after. No, it's okay, don't worry. Alright. This one is called The Girl in the Photograph. Oh, excuse me, I'm burping a little. So give me 1 second. Okay. One day, oh, sorry, I already messed up. One school day, a boy named Tom was sitting in class and doing math. It was 6 more minutes until after school. As he was doing his homework, something caught his eye. His desk was next to the window, and he turned and looked to the grass outside. It looked like a picture. When school was over, he ran to the spot where he saw it. He ran so fast that no one else could grab it. He picked it up and smiled. It had a picture of the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. She had a dress with tights on and red shoes, and her hand was formed into a peace sign. She was so beautiful he wanted to meet her, so he ran all over the school and asked everyone if they knew her or had ever seen her before. But everyone he asked said no. He was devastated. When he was home, he asked his older sister if she knew the girl, but unfortunately she said no. It was very late, so Tom walked up the stairs, placed the picture on his bedside table, and went to sleep. In the middle of the night, Tom was awakened by a tap on his window. It was like a nail tapping. He got scared. After tapping, he heard a giggle. He saw a shadow near his window, so he got out of bed, walked towards the window, opened it up, and followed the giggling. By the time he reached it, it was gone. The next day, again, he asked his neighbors if they had known her. Everybody said, sorry, no. When his mother came home, he even asked her if she knew. She said no. He went into his room, placed the picture on his desk, and fell asleep. Once again, he was awakened by a tapping. He took the picture and followed the giggling. He walked across the road, when suddenly, he was hit by a car. He was dead with the picture in his hand. The driver got out of the car and tried to help him, but it was too late. Suddenly, he saw the picture and picked it up. He saw a cute girl holding up 3 fingers. Bum, bum, bum. Get it? Because she killed him. Oh. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, we have an ad. I know, it went, I know, right? I had a feeling I knew where it was gonna go. Okay, I'm gonna play the ad so we can just talk for a little bit. Yeah, that's it. That was it. Alright, there was one that I had missed. Because it was quite long. I think it was, oh yeah, okay. It was the Pokemon one. I guess he got to meet her. Damn, that's true. Alright, I'm gonna be playing an ad right now. So I won't be reading at the moment. So you guys can take a break, go to the bathroom. Actually, I think I'll use the restroom so you guys can listen to the ambiance. Alright, I'll see you guys in about 3 minutes. I'm back. Okay. Let me look at this story before. This is another video game creepypasta. I don't know if I want to read this one actually. This one seems kind of... Yeah, nah, I'm not gonna read this one. Okay, the last ones we have actually are from the actual links. So I'll probably read those. Let's see, this one is only 12 minutes. Oh, this one's actually a pretty new one. This would be cool. Yay. Okay. We have just a few more actually. All this pasta and no garlic bread to eat it with. Oh my god, true, 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 true. Thank you so much for the follows, guys. I really appreciate it. Again, I'm not an ASMR streamer by any means, but I really hope that you guys have been enjoying this a lot. Should I find another? No, we actually might end pretty soon anyways. I think I'll read this one and probably another one just because, like I said, I'm not an ASMR streamer. So, um, I will read some of these. So even 3 hours is quite a lot. I think last time we only streamed 2 hours for ASMR. Yeah. First time here, I'm enjoying the ASMR. Actually, getting tired. So good job. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. For those, especially for those that are new, I know my chat enjoys cozy time with me. But those that are new, I hope that you guys have had a good time. I hope you had a good time. Alright, let's see. Okay. This one is called. Oh, okay. It's literally called what the first line is. Okay. It says, if you are armed and at the Glenmont Metro, please shoot me. Thanks, guys. Okay. This one's actually pretty new. This is from 2020. Yeah, I know. At first, I was like, what the fuck? But this is how it goes. If you're armed at the Glenmont Metro, please shoot me. Make it a headshot. Shoot me in the temple, aiming slightly downwards. I need the bullet to travel the shortest possible distance through my brain before it hits my hippocampus. If I'm lucky, the sensation of a gunshot ripping through my skull will only last a few decades. As awful as it sounds, you'll be doing me an enormous favor. Death by a headshot, as soon as possible, is vastly better than the alternative. Wait, what? Wait, I'm so confused. Maybe this is like a fantasy thing? Wait, okay, wait, actually, hold on. Now I'm looking. I don't know what this is, guys. Wait, maybe... You know what? Maybe not this one. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, I actually don't know what this is. Alright, never mind. We're not gonna read this one. Sorry, chat. Okay, I'm gonna actually read ahead on some of these, because... I know, I like started reading, I was like, I don't know if I can talk about this. Okay, I'm gonna read through it just in case. This next one. I don't know how I feel about this one. This one's, the rating is an 9 out of 10. It's called Psychosis. Let me, sorry, I'm turning that off for a second. I'm going to check. Psychosis? Wait, Psychosis isn't TOS? How does... Dude, that other creepypasta has 9 out of 10 as well. Okay. Am I winning? Oh, the bullet. Oh, yes, yes, yes. The bullet thing. Okay. I'm looking at the Psychosis one. I'm like wondering, like... You know what? I think we'll end it with a few stories from what Oddity sent us. It's a creepypasta wiki. And it says, I am a search and rescue officer for the U.S. Forest Service. I have some stories to tell. I feel like that would be fun. Those are usually, like, pretty good. You know? Like Skinwalker stuff. Story time! Oh, I see Ben Drown here now. Why is there a popular page that says normal porn for normal people? Okay. Alright, let's read a few of these. I wasn't sure where else to post these stories, so I figured I'd share them here. I've been a SAR officer for a few years now, and along the way, I've seen some things that I think you guys will be interested in. I have a pretty good track record for finding missing people. Most of the time, they just wander off the path or slip down a small cliff and can't find their way back. The majority of them have heard the old stay where you are thing, and they don't wander far. But I've had 2 cases where that didn't happen. Both bother me a lot, and I use them as motivation to search even harder on missing person cases I get called on. Oh, did you guys all know this? Well, I get to hear me read it. The first was a little boy who was out berry picking with his parents. He and his sister were together, and both of them went missing around the same time. The parents lost sight of them for a few seconds, and in that time, both the kids apparently wandered off. When their parents couldn't find them, they called us, and we came out to the search area. We found the daughter pretty quickly. And when we asked where her brother was, she told us that he had been taken away by the bear man. She said he gave her berries and told her to stay quiet, and that he wanted to play with her brother for a while. The last she saw of her brother, he was riding on the shoulders of the bear man. He seemed calm. Of course, our first thought was abduction, but we never found a trace of another human being in that area. The little girl was also insistent that he wasn't a normal man, but that he was tall and covered in hair, like a bear, and that he had a weird face. We searched the area for weeks. It was one of the longest calls I've ever been on, but we never found a single trace of that kid. The other was a young woman who was out hiking with her mom and grandpa. According to the mother, her daughter had climbed up a tree to get a better view of the forest, and she'd never come back down. They waited at the base of the tree for hours, calling her name before they called her help. Again, we searched everywhere, and we never found a trace of her. I have no idea where she could possibly have gone, because neither her mother, or her grandpa saw her come down. A few times, I've been out on my own searching with a canine, and they've tried to lead me straight up cliffs. Not hills, not even rock faces. Straight, sheer cliffs, with no possible handholds. It's always baffling, and in those cases we usually find the person on the other side of the cliff, or miles away from where the canine has led us. I'm sure there's an explanation, but it's sort of strange. One particularly sad case involved the recovery of a body. A 9-year-old girl had fell down an embankment and got impaled on a dead tree at the base. It was a complete freak accident, but I'll never forget the sound her mother made when we told her what had happened. She saw the body bag being loaded into the ambulance and let out the most haunting, heartbroken wail I have ever heard. It was like her whole life was crashing down around her, and a part of her had died with her daughter. I heard from the SAR officer that she killed herself a few weeks later after it happened. She couldn't live with the loss of her daughter. I was teamed up with another SAR officer because we'd received reports of bears in the area. We were looking for a guy who hadn't come home from his climbing trip when he was supposed to, and we ended up having to do some serious climbing to get where we figured he'd be. We found him trapped in a small crevice with a broken leg. It was not pleasant. He was there for almost 2 days, and his leg was very obviously infected. We were able to get him into a chopper, and I heard from one of the EMTs that the guy was absolutely inconsolable. He kept talking about how he'd been doing fine. When we got to the top, a man had been there. He said the guy had no climbing equipment. He was wearing a parka and ski pants and walked up to the guy. And when the guy turned around, he said he had no face. It was just blank. He freaked out and ended up trying to get off the mountain too fast, which is why he had fallen. He said he could hear the guy all night, climbing down the mountain and letting out these horrible, muffled screams. That story bothered the hell out of me. I'm glad I wasn't there to hear it. One of the scariest things I've ever had happen to me involved the search of a young woman who had gotten separated from her hiking group. We were out until late at night because the dogs had picked up her scent. When we found her, she was curled up under a large, rotting log. She was missing her shoes and pack and clearly in shock. She didn't have any injuries, so we were able to get her to walk back with us to base ops. Along the way, she kept looking back at us and asking why that big man with black eyes was following us. We couldn't see anyone, so we just wrote it off as some weird symptom of shock. But the closer we got to the base, the more agitated this woman got. She kept asking me to tell him to stop making faces at her. At one point, she stopped and turned around and started yelling into the forest, saying she wanted him to leave her alone. She wasn't going to go with him, she said, and she wouldn't give us to him. We finally got her to keep moving, but we started hearing these weird noises coming from all around us. It was almost like coughing, but more rhythmic and deeper. It was almost insect-like. I don't really know how else to describe it. When we were within sight of the base stops, the woman turned to me. Her eyes are about as wide as I can imagine a human could open them. She touches my shoulder and says, "He says to tell you to speed up. He doesn't like looking at the scar on your neck." I have a very small scar on the base of my neck, but it's mostly hidden under my collar. I have no idea how this woman saw that. Right after she said that, I heard that weird coughing right in my ear, and I was about jumped out of my skin. I hustled her to ops, trying not to show how freaked out I was, but I have to say I was really happy when we left the area that night. This is the last one I'll tell, and it's probably the weirdest story I have. Now, I don't know if this is true in every SAR unit, but in mine, it's sort of an unspoken, regular thing we run into. You can try asking about it with the other SAR officers, but even if they know what you're talking about, they probably won't say anything about it. We've been told not to talk about it by our superiors, and at this point, we've all gotten so used to it that it doesn't seem weird anymore. On just about every case where we were really far into the wilderness, I'm talking 30 or 40 miles, at some point, we'll find a staircase in the middle of the woods. It's almost like if you took stairs from your house, cut them out, and put them in the forest. I asked about it the first time I saw some, and the other officer just told me not to worry about it, that it was normal. Everyone asked the same thing. I wanted to go check them out, but I was told, very empathetically, that I should never go near any of them. I just sort of ignore them now when I run into them because it happens so frequently. I have a lot more stories, and I suppose if anyone's interested, I'll tell some of them tomorrow. If anyone has any theories about the stairs, or if you've ever seen them too, let me know. Wait, so what's up with the stairs? I know you guys are so traumatized. Okay, these next ones are quite long, but I want to see, does he talk about the stairs at all? I'm minding my own damn business, yeah. There's a story about what he explained what happened to you. Okay, hold on. Alright, you guys are gonna hear keyboard ASMR. Oops. Okay, let's see. Oh, wait. Is this where he talks about it? No, he doesn't really go into depth about it. But I think honestly, that might be a good... No, don't worry, Shadow. I'm actually gonna end now. It's been quite a long time. Like I said, I am not very used to doing ASMR. Oh no! Yeah, I'm not used to doing ASMR, and also this mic is pissing me off. So I'm going to try and look to get a new cord for that. Yeah. Many creepypastas. Interesting. It is taxing on the voice. That's why I don't usually like to go too long for ASMRs. But let's see. I'm sorry if you heard that. Yeah, I'll be speaking a lot tomorrow because I'll be doing my computer. I will be building my brand new computer. I am very excited. And like I said, if you guys have any suggestions for bedtime stories that you guys want to listen to, let me know. Let me know. Okay, I think today I actually might not raid into someone just because I am really afraid and I don't want it to be like, because I don't know like the customers of everything, so I think I will just end here. I hope you enjoyed it though, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, no, I'll be back tomorrow actually for my first IRL stream ever. So what I mean by that is that I won't be using my model tomorrow. I'll be using myself, but I won't have my face on the screen. It'll probably just be like my neck down or something. But yeah, thank you guys so much for those that followed. I do not have a lion head. No, it won't be my hand cam. It'll actually be like myself. It'll be myself. Yeah, it's a 4D model. And then once my computer is built, next week we're gonna do some spooky streams. Like I said, I want to do FNAF. I want to try doing FNAF with a full body, so you guys can see me like kind of like panic and flail and cover my eyes and stuff. So I think that'll be really funny. Okay, everyone. Thank you again so much for coming today. Thank you guys for submitting copypastas or creepypastas. You know, even though we didn't get too many submissions, we went on for a long time since there was just very, very long creepypastas. I should have known. I should have looked at it. But anyways, thank you guys so much for coming today. I will see you guys tomorrow at around, my schedule says 1, but it'll be around 2 p.m., 2 to 2:30 p.m. where we start building the computer. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Again, please post your suggestions into Discord. Oh, shoot. I hit the mic. Also, sorry. If you want, you can follow me on my socials too. And yeah. Alright. I will see you all tomorrow. Oh my god. Oh no. I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you guys so much again for being here. I probably won't be able to do any more ASMR streams until I get this cord fixed. But okay. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, everyone.